Underground. We underground. Underground. Deep underground. 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 That's how we get down. 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 Underground.
Check it out. Extra deep underneath, underground just like the soil. Extra deep underneath. You know we're rooted and we ain't going nowhere. Extra deep underneath, we underground just like the soil. Underneath. Oh, that's how we get down. 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 We underground. Extra deep underneath, we underground just like the soil. Extra deep underneath, you know we rooted and we ain't going nowhere. Extra deep underneath. Oh. Mama, tell them again. That's how we get down. That's how we get down. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. That's how we get down. 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 When you're listening to the rebel sound, you might just get into the underground. That's why we coming up out of the nowhere. We got our roots rooted deep, but we use all kinds of nutrients to make sure that nobody creeps up and rips us out of our plantation.
Hey there, fellow patriots. This one here is for all my brothers and sisters that do not appreciate all these elections being stolen by the radical left and the Dominion voting systems. They gotta go. Yee-hoo! Blame it on Dominion, blame it on religion, blame it on the fact I have a jaded opinion. Blame it on gas prices, on Joe Biden, on the avocados in my fridge that have been ripe. Blame it on on Fauci. Oh God, how she blames it on the fact she woke up grouchy. Communist party, blame it on a Barbie. Can't read instructions, so I blame it on a Sharpie. Like to play the blame game, it's what we do. Life on a chain gang, Papa never went through. I hear screaming gang gang in this government room, and we'll show them bang bangs. If you tell us what to do, we'll pop them bang bangs. If you try to take my rights, we're God-fearing Christians, but we like to get in fights. J6 was a party, they say it was a riot, and even though I've seen the footage, I don't fucking buy it. No, there's no way I buy that. Who knows what BLM Antifa false flaggers could have been there? It could have been anybody. It definitely wasn't us God-fearing patriots. Blame it on Dominion, blame it on Clinton, blame it on the fact I have a jaded opinion. Blame it on gas prices, on Joe Biden, on the avocados in my fridge that haven't ripened. Blame it on Fauci, oh God, how she blames it on the fact she woke up grouchy. Communist party, blame it on a Barbie. Can't read instructions, so I blame it on a Sharpie. Squad went down to the elections office, knew something was wrong, so we had to go and stop it. Didn't see nothing even though we were watching, stalking and crowding all the workers like a mosh pit. Aw shit, just saw someone take a couple ballots, stuff them down his pants, but I caught it like a foul pitch. Why is the left always trying to steal my dreams? So I guess I'm still in one of these voting machines. I'm taking this with me. I don't care if it's illegal. I'm a patriot, and I need to know how these things work, and how they keep stealing our elections away from us God-fearing patriots. Blame it on Dominion, blame it on religion, blame it on the fact I have a jaded opinion. Blame it on gas prices, on Joe Biden, on the avocados in my fridge that haven't ripened. Blame it on Fauci, oh God, how she blames it on the fact she woke up grouchy. Communist party, blame it on a Barbie. Can't read instructions, so I blame it on a Sharpie. Those Sharpies, they did not tell us how to use them. I did not know that I had to circle in the circle and that I couldn't just put an X through it. They should have explained that better. God.
Hey, and good morning. Hello, everybody out there in Twitch land, in the land of early. Fuck. I mean, I know 9 o'clock isn't very early, but okay, smooth jazz. Just calm yourself. Hi, I'm Media Wench. Welcome to Complex Media. This is Media Wench Monday, where we do bonus Shasta content. I would say if that's lacking, then we move on to some other stuff. However, it's never lacking. And currently we're doing a rewatch of the Red, White, and Blueprint series, which is fun and informative. It's not informative at all. But first, I played a song by our friend, colleague, fellow Echoplexian, as of now and unofficially for the last several months, Nathan Blaze, who has gotten his TikTok back. Yay! So go to Welcome to Shasta County on TikTok and find Nathan Blaze and give him a shout, give him some support, say hey. Good morning, Meat Bomb. Good morning, Little Ritz. Good morning, Drake. How was your weekend? Hope everybody's weekend was good. I went up north, hung out with Nathan and Flying Syringe and Auntie Civics. We had a fucking blast. We did some karaoke. I think Dave played that on stream the other day. It was pretty good. We had a great time. I love Suzanne. She's fucking wonderful. You're an ice mocha and a hot coffee, and fuck, I'd be jittering by now. I'm trying to stick to some water. I'm having a little too much caffeine, I think. Anyways, we had a good time. We, like I said, we did some karaoke. We did some trivia. Went and picked up the kids, so they're here. They're still sleeping. They'll probably be sleeping until about 10, 10:30. As they usually do. All right. Also, I have this wonderful stinger. It's great. I love it. What happened? We back? Okay. I have fucking. You guys got to tell me when shit's going fucking crazy. Yeah, so the weather here has been fucking insane. Last night we actually did get some thunderstorms and shit, but it is windy as fuck. So yeah, it may be intermittent. I don't have any control over that. Everything on my end looks fine, and then just let me know. Let me know what's going on. All right, so we are on episode 4 of the Red, White, and Blueprint. We'll get through 5 and 6, and then I'll leave you hanging for 6.5 till next week or tomorrow. I don't think that there's a meeting tomorrow. Audio delay. Hold on. Whoops. I didn't mean to play the stinger again. That's the thing that I might have to fix with Dave. Is this better? Is it any better? Might not be any better. Yeah, the storm's coming. The storm's coming in. Better?
North State, we continue to track lake levels dropping across the area.
At the
Shasta
moment,
Lake.
this is all because of a high pressure system that is just dominating our weather pattern and is going to stay here for the next several days. Probably keep any activities indoors if you can to stay away from that heat.
So we're gonna go outside, smoke cigarettes in a dry field. Weather is settling in. It's fucking windy here. It was windy last night. It was blowing shit all over the fucking place. Well, don't fucking float away, Drake. They've been getting too much fucking rain. Look, climate change isn't real. We have a lake.
To me was the resisting tyranny. That's the first step. Anytime
Woody
anytime you get a big
Clendenin,
old dose of
hairdresser
tyranny, your first move
extraordinaire.
is to resist it. The people that recognized it for what it was early on and resisted it, they just became kind of natural leaders in the movement. You know, the Alyssa McEwen or Bullhorn at the door of the supervisors moments, and
Ooh, you guys got snow?
people were attracted to that bravery and
How low was your snow level?
non-compliance.
Did it get
And
down to
then
Old
you go
Shasta?
from there to, okay, now we've resisted this, but what are we going to do about it? More and more started to join in, and then as we met together as a community, all the ideas started coming in, and the obvious answer was, well, we got to get rid of these leaders that keep voting to keep us closed.
It's
That's
not,
how we ended up in this in the first place. So we became complacent, and we haven't really.
It's not that they're keeping you closed. It's like they're stopping and quitting writing strongly worded letters to the governor about how they're so unhappy with the mandates. It has nothing to do. I'm convinced that like as you hit a certain age in Shasta County and something in the water poisons your fucking brain.
Held our leaders to any sort of standard. We just trusted they'd do the right thing, and they've proven that they won't. So it's like we're backed up to a cliff right now. You know, you just can't back up forever, and so it's time now. You know, dig our heels in and fight.
I think like after the first episode, he took down the Confederate flag that he had hanging off the outside of his hair salon. I don't have anything against hair salons or hairdressers. It's just funny to call Woody Clendon a hairdresser. Also, those posts right there needed another Nathan the Creator sticker on them.
I'd shave my head, honestly, if my old lady would let me. I mean, not that my balls are in her purse, but...
No. No way.
Yeah, so what's going on with the DA going around harassing people?
I heard they went by and talked to Alyssa. So I talked to some DA investigators that told me that there would be no reason for them on their own just to take that up. They had to be put on it, you know what I mean? I mean, why would they investigate a recall?
What else can they do?
Why wouldn't you cut that one little tag that was hanging off the back of his fucking head?
Are they just going to give up, or are they going to utilize whatever tools they have, you know?
Well, if you were...
Yeah, that's what she
in their
said, my lord.
spot, wouldn't you just let the recall go forward and figure, hey, if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen, and if I have the support of the voters, it's not going to go through, you know? That's the way I look at it.
As far as I'm concerned, you know, the more they attack us, the more I know that we're on the right track to exposing, you know, whatever they're trying to cover up. There's not, when the truth's on your side, you
Oh wait, I think there was something really funny right here. I know there's a lot of like really funny things all over the place.
I look at it.
But
as far as I'm concerned, you know,
okay.
The more they attack us, the more I know.
Damn it. It won't just let me go back a couple of seconds. So
wouldn't you just let the recall go forward and figure, hey, if...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
What else can they do but double down?
Investigators that told me that there would be no reason for them on their own. No.
Sorry. Hold on.
No way.
Yeah, so what's going on with the DA going around harassing people?
I heard they went by and talked to Alyssa. So I talked to some DA investigators that told me that
they got that guy's face blurred out, right?
reason for them on their own just
the other guy.
Take that up. They had to be put on it, you know what I mean? I mean, why would they investigate a recall?
What else can they do but double down, though? You know, they're stuck in a corner. Or are they just going to give up, or are they going to utilize whatever tools they have, you know?
Well, if you were in their spot, wouldn't you just let the recall go forward and figure, hey, if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen, and if I have the support of the voters, it's not going to go through, you know? That's the way I look at it.
As far as I'm concerned, you know, the more they...
What's the point of having the guy's face blurred when it's just out and not in the mirror? I'm just here asking questions. Like, I mean, I realize that I'm splitting fucking hairs here. every pun intended. But every time I see this, I've watched this series like maybe 3 or 4 times. Every time I see this, it fucking turns my brain around backwards. What is the point of blurring his face out? In the fucking, not in the mirror. Oh God. Okay, I just had to point that. Right, that's actually fucking incredible. It's amazing. That's one of the best parts of this entire fucking series is this fucking scene right here. It's so stupid. And I don't know why I'm fucking dwelling on it. Except for it's so incredibly stupid. Oh God. Okay, back. Not high enough for this shit.
Know that
Too
we're on the
early.
right track to exposing, whatever they're trying to cover up.
Oh God.
The truth's on your side.
It's
you,
too
you
funny.
don't have to worry about nothing, And they're the ones that are got to cover up and double down on stupid.
You know you're doing the right thing by how they're reacting. Why would they react like this if they weren't nervous about what all's been going on? So harder they fight makes me know we're on the right path. So I mean, what's scummier than using your position to divert resources on a fight?
Wait, but isn't that what Patrick Jones has been doing this entire time? He's using his position to divert resources to fucking for his own gain. Because I'm pretty sure, getting rid of impact fees and fucking trying to get rid of fucking permits and going around all kinds of other stuff so he can get his fucking gun range going seems like a misappropriation of power.
Fire. That's the one that's going to get him.
The fire burned over 220,000 acres, destroying at least 1,600 structures while damaging others. Some other people in our community and on our movement wanted to blame it on Jewish space lasers, but really it was just a chain on a car driving down 299 in Old Shasta.
Safety to the public while we're out there taking care of business. Thank you.
Yeah, this shit was crazy.
My name is Leonard Modi. I'm the Shasta County Supervisor for District 2. Most of the burn area is in District 2. But my comments are actually to all the citizens of Shasta County who've been affected by this fire. Like you, I've been evacuated from my home. I understand what the angst that you're going through and the concern and wanting to get back to see if you have homes left and take care of other things that may be needed there. But let the fire personnel make it safe before you go back. That's their main goal. Be patient, give them the time.
Big fucking whoop. This seems so fucking trivial. It was trivial back then. But now it seems it's even more fucking trivial considering what has gone on Soups. Also, as a good supervisor and as a good fucking also he was the chief of police for City of Reading Police Department for fucking 15 years. Of course you're going to tell people to wait and not go back to their homes because you don't want everybody jamming up the fucking roads. No, the music is a whole other character.
We have the opportunity to approve or not approve a response of the Board of Supervisors to the grand jury report. So with that, I'm going to turn it to Supervisor Modi first before I open it for public comment.
We are on the brink of another fire season here in Shasta County. It's because we need the best possible leadership during crises.
the wildfire that I wanted to
You're not gonna tell me what to do.
past decisions and hopefully bring closure to that situation so that I can be at my best going forward. During the 2018 car fire, I stood with our Sheriff's Department and firefighters and spent time behind the fire line almost every day during the fire, checking on homes with animals, vehicles, and other concerns as they were presented to me by my constituents. On 2 occasions, while with law enforcement management, I took and put fuel into my own generator. It was the grand jury's determination that my actions were improper, although not illegal, because of my position and leadership of the county. I want to apologize to my colleagues who were present at the time of the car fire, but most of all to my constituents and all the residents of Shasta County. It is my hope that today's agenda item brings that accountability and that we can move beyond. At the appropriate time, the chair will be happy to make a motion.
See, and one of the reasons why people are historically selfish, and I agree, but also, like, he was a chief of police. He didn't just run over in his fucking truck and just, you know, hang out at his house and hose off the roof with he didn't. And it wasn't just his stuff that he went and checked on. If a constituent contacted him directly and said, hey, if you have access to over there, can you just check on shit? And he fucking did. And if there was no active fire there and he was with law enforcement and he's formerly law enforcement, I don't fucking see a problem with that. It's just hella petty. It's a hella petty. It's fucking Petty White is what that is. It's fucking Tom Petty. It's Petty LaBelle. I'm not into it. It's fucking hella petty.
Very dry year that year. Time of year, August. That's what we refer to as peak fire season. The terrain, the mountains, difficult getting in there. Homes and the environment, that can play into how big a fire gets.
It sucked. Just the feeling of being helpless, your own city's burning, and then you can find out that a well-respected acquaintance of mine that passed away. It's a little different when your own town is being impacted. You know, there's a little more of a personal emotion involved.
But I had friends that had been evacuated that were calling me and texting me and saying, can you find out if my home's still standing? And as much as I wanted to, I said no, because I would give them special treatment as opposed to the rest of the public. And I can't do that. I won't do that.
If he had called me to go, fill up his generator, and I used my position for my personal gain or his personal gain, what do you think would happen to me? Nobody
probably would have found out about it because you're not a supervisor for the county. Right. You're just a firefighter, dude.
I think the grand jury has it partially right. From everything I've read and from the testimony that I'm about to share with you, there is no doubt in my mind that this is purely 100% malfeasance of office. The law clearly states it is unlawful for any elected state or local officer, including any state or local appointee, employee, consultant, to use or permit others to use public resources, personal or other purposes, not only the county resource.
Right, and if he was able to go in every once in a while and check and see if somebody's house is still there, and then while he's there, fill up his generator or whatever, fill up somebody else's generator, or check on their horses or their fucking goats or their chickens or whatever the fuck they have.
To clarify where this is coming from.
Without drawing hell of attention and encouraging other people to go behind the fire lines on their own.
He makes it sound.
It doesn't fucking matter. It's a fucking petty, fucking useless bullshit ass position.
His claim that he was checking on the fire in his district as a facade to access his home and fuel his generator. Just a few days after his area was closed and evacuated, he requested to check on his house. I drove in there. His house was fine. Thereafter, he made requests to the undersheriff You drive him out to his house 2 times daily.
What?
The generator. This continued for some time. What this really deserves is, instead of a slap on the hands, this should be a charge of malfeasance. So I'm asking for a permanent ban from public office. And today, one man to the other, Mr. Modi, I'm asking you to step down.
The skeletons in Les's closet are doing a fucking dance, let me fucking tell you.
I am sick and tired of listening to your
Supervisor, your language, please.
I'm sorry, that is just so out of touch. I have the right to speak.
You have a fire in your house, it's electrical fire. You can't see the smoke, you can't see the flames, but hey, there's something wrong, right? You smell there's something wrong. So you're gonna call us, we show up, our fire engine. We're not just gonna kick the door in and start spraying water. We gotta go in and start locating where is the problem. We may have to start ripping wall apart. Okay? That's gonna be messy. That to me is what the recall's doing. Now, the more you pull wall, we got more of a problem than we thought we had. We thought it was just going to be a simple.
That was a terrible analogy, sir.
I need more fire engines. I need this. I need that because this has gotten more bigger than I thought.
Bigger.
That's a good example of what we're seeing happening. More and more stuff's being uncovered, and some people aren't happy about it. That's very evident. Yes, sir.
How are we going to get through and rebuild this county with this kind of divisive behavior?
You stepping down would be a good start.
If there's anyone that should step down, it is you, Mr. Bob, for starting this and initiating this craziness. And I'm sorry, I don't lose my temper very often, but you flip that switch. And I'm done.
Thank you very much.
The grand jury
Thank you, Mary.
made their determination, and I'm going to accept the determination of the grand jury because that's what they were impaneled to do.
Thank you, Chair Committee. I will start off with Supervisor Modi.
Yes.
Supervisor Ricker?
Yes.
Supervisor Jones?
Yes.
Supervisor Bob?
Yes.
And Chair Committee.
Yes, so it passes unanimously, and Supervisor Modi is officially censured.
Thank you, Chair Committee. Just give me 1 moment, please.
Not like it, well, I mean, I guess it was Clemente Modi and Mary, so they had the majority back then.
Parents against face masks for their kids are making their voices heard all around our area. These parents threaten to play hardball if the schools don't stop forcing their kids to wear masks.
The mask ruling lasts indefinitely, but will be reviewed every 3 months.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed say no.
No.
It passes 4-1.
This is not March 2020 anymore. We have 3 vaccines. Every adult in the state of Georgia that wants that vaccine is eligible to get it right now, and every one of us knows that young children are not affected by this virus.
I'll second.
It needs to be an option. If children come from families that want them to be masked, everyone has that right. We're not asking to take the right away. We're asking to be given the right to medical choice.
And I don't think barely anybody likes masks in schools. Their children are suffocating.
I have a lot to say about fucking activists using their children as fucking meat shields. This is probably the lowest of the low that you can fucking go is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Grooming your children to be fucking assholes for the rest of their life by doing this exact shit right here. This is some bullshit. Like, my kids have a good sense of the fucking world around them and what's right and what's wrong and what's fucking reasonable and what's ridiculous. And I would never take them to a fucking meeting and have them talk in front of a bunch of people like this, even if they wanted to, because the fucking optics of it are bad. Indoctrination. Thank you, Bourgeois. I tried not to drink any coffee this early because my stomach is like, girl, you just need some water.
You don't know what it feels like, and just, it's not in a sense. The boss of you or someone is controlling you. Stand up and take these masks off these children. Don't be afraid.
I miss seeing people's face. I miss the way things used to be. I'm scared they'll never go back to normal. Breathing freely doesn't seem like something we should have to ask any other people for permission for.
This room is not complying with these health guidelines. This creates a health concern for this meeting, so the meeting is adjourned.
It is absolutely insane to isolate my children, to not educate them. People need to have that choice. My children need to go and be educated. They need to be with their friends.
Then just fucking let them wear a mask and don't fucking fuck their heads up and make them think that it's something that's...
My number one reason for going to the board.
They don't come up with these ideas on their own. If they're like, hey, wearing a mask is annoying, and you're like, well, it's a fucking, and it's an infraction on your God-given rights and the fucking breathe, blah, 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 blah. They're going to go with that attitude because it's what they're learning from you, all right? They learn it from watching you. Like, my kids went to school, and my kids still go to school in Reading. And they went through the at-home learning with the computers and stuff, and they did absolutely fine. 150% fine. Sometimes they got a little fucking lazy, but they're, you know, at the time they were like 8 and 9 years old, so 7 and 8 years old. So, I mean, you know, what little fucking kid isn't going to want to be like, man, you want to do this today? That's just what kids do. It's how you approach that situation as a parent and how you guide them through things that make them uncomfortable or that they think is unreasonable or that they don't want to do. And you're just like, you know what? I understand this sucks, but this is just kind of how it has to be right now until things get better. I understand that wearing a mask is uncomfortable, but you have to do it to protect your friends. You have to do it so your friends protect you. And it's really fucking easy if you just approach it reasonably and with some fucking logic. But these people are so unreasonable that it's all about them. It isn't about their kids. It's not about their kids. It's about them. It's about them pushing their agenda and having their little parrot to parrot whatever they're saying. And for some reason, they think that it gives their movement credulity by using children to push their fucking narrative. And it doesn't. It's gross. And it looks awful. And it's manipulative. And fuck that.
It was my children. I saw them not being allowed to do sports, not being allowed to go to school. They were being restricted from everything that would be considered what we do during childhood, and it blew me away. And I just felt none of that was right.
You know, were you born in the time where they had the Spanish influenza and everybody was dying of the flu?
All the science of it, kids aren't the ones spreading it. My main concern with Board of Supervisors was looking at the numbers and the data and the information for what we had as far as COVID and deaths and reported, sickness and illness from it. I kept asking why they couldn't be in school because everything on the school websites and the school boards that would communicate to me said we're following the California Department of Health guidelines.
Right.
And if you went to Shasta County Health website, it's California guidelines. So as I went through those guidelines,
because Shasta County is in California,
required, our schools were following. So I didn't understand why we couldn't be back in 5 days a week with the students. So finally, the schools told me it was the Rancho document that had been put out by Shasta County Health, and that is what they were required to follow was the Rancho document, even though all their websites and links said they were following California Health, public health. So when I asked for the Rancho documents, no one would give it to me. I asked Shasta County Health for it, and they said they had to make a version that was okay for the public to see. So I had to wait for that. So I went to the board again and made my petition that we really need to have the kids back in school 5 days a week. And their response to me, the only response I ever got from the board was, we don't control that. You need to go to your school boards in order to
That is correct.
To have that addressed. And I said, well, I have gone to the school boards, and they refer me back to your county health department with the Rancho document that we don't have access to. So they were pointing fingers at the school board, but really it was Shasta County Health, which is under them, that was the issue. So it was frustrating.
Well, Shasta County Health has to abide by California abide by California mandates.
A version of it, and I'm not sure if it was one the schools had actually seen.
You know what I really feel like? I feel like that the reason that these parents were so fucking upset about the schools being closed is because they just don't know how to raise their own kids. And they're counting on the schools to raise their children for them. And for daycare. When they're like, oh, you're your parents, you need to be around your kids, and then they're just not. And then they're all fucking pissy about it. I mean, really, I think that's just, that's just my opinion.
It was 7 local counties decided to restrict and make a tighter control on what was required in order for the kids to be in school for the, greater.
Right, because they don't like the fucking curriculum. So what else is there?
California Department of Health guidelines. I feel like the county health was given free rein to just dictate anything they wanted. And I don't know where they came up with we need to make even stricter guidelines than what was already done by the state, which was overreaching. And it just seemed like there was no one to question them or rein them in. And
no, but there's people who don't know how to raise kids, and then there's people who are trying and doing their best. Maybe that was a bad way to phrase it. There's people that don't want to raise their kids because they just
for making the best decisions.
People that shouldn't have kids
for our kids, for our general well-being in the public, and all that. It was.
I understand that kids don't come with a manual. I have several of them.
I was listening on the radio going into work one day, and they were joking about how on one of the Zoom meetings they could see, the dad sitting back there drinking beer while they're, first, second graders in their Zoom classroom. And I was like, it's not funny. Like, in the morning, he's sitting there, these kids, some of their only escape into real world is to come to school where they get supported, where they get fed.
I can't do anything about the music. The music is in the video.
And during this whole process, as my kids were staying home and they weren't allowed to go to school, Governor Newsom, it's on the news that his kids are in quarantine from going to school because he could pay for a private school, and therefore his kids were able to go to school while he was telling all of our children.
It's like, where's the fucking explosions?
It was just insult to injury, too, during that process in time for everybody. But who reap, the worst of it is really our children, so.
Oh, it's not over. It's not over. Look at this county supervisor utilizing his position to fucking create propaganda. They took away his key card after this stunt. It's like all of a sudden it became a heist movie, except for he's just stealing plexiglass. Prior to the regularly scheduled Board of Supervisors meeting, Patrick Jones' protective plexiglass was reinstalled by county employees. Good, because he's a whiny little bitch. kind of fucking grandstanding fucking positioning is this? What? It's fucking clear plexiglass, dude.
Yes.
I'm taking my
What's up, Genji? I'm Patrick Jones, and I can't stand plastic. It's clear that you can hear me from behind just perfectly, especially because I have a microphone. What a fucking maroon. He's like a cartoon character.
When I took over as chair, I had a plan as to how we were going to roll through the COVID restrictions. I managed to implement that plan. That was a little bit of a hiccup right in the beginning, but we got through that. We brought the seats back in, we brought people back in, and we've done everything that I think is responsible and reasonable. And the reason I say me is I take full responsibility for this. And whether I agree with the law or disagree with the law, whether I agree with the governor or disagree with the governor, that's the law. He's the governor. I want to do what's in the best interest for the entire community.
Like, I don't even know how many times Clemente explained to them that's like, we have to abide by the state mandates, but we could fucking lay low and just kind of do whatever we want if we don't bring fucking attention to ourselves and just follow along with the bare minimum. But these assholes couldn't do that. They had to make a fucking big old fucking scene out of absolutely everything, like a bunch of fucking assholes. And they did all this shit to themselves. The whole thing with the Dominion machines and the AB 969 and all of that stuff, they're their own worst enemies, and they tell on themselves around every corner, every fucking thing that they fucking bust themselves out. And they're like, damn it, Gavin.
So Shasta County is broken into 5 supervisoral districts. So we are recalling 3 of those. We've got Leonard Modi, District 2, Mary Rickert, District 3, Joe Clemente, District 1. So the way we've decided to move forward with the recall is called Operation 231. And what that means is we're prioritizing recalling District 2, Leonard Modi, District 3, Mary Rickert, District 1, Joe Clemente. One of the reasons we did that is because Leonard Modi's district is the most rural part of the area with Igo, Ono, Platina. And so it'll take us a little bit longer to canvass his areas. And then we prioritize Joe Clemente last because he has the highest density area, being that his district is the city of Reading. So it'll be the easiest to canvass, so we pushed him to the end. Now, we're collecting signatures for all 3 districts simultaneously, but in terms of canvassing, physically going out and knocking on doors, we decided to do Leonard Modi's district first. The number of signatures we need valid for a recall election to be called for Leonard Modi is 4,308. But we know that there's a failure rate on a lot of people who sign. And so we know that we have to gather much more than that 4,300. We need to gather closer to 7,000 signatures to ensure that we have enough valid signatures to call the special election.
They fucking barely eked it out.
This is important because you have to...
Because what they did is that they put all 3 fucking petitions out on their tables. And then when people didn't know what district they were in, they just had them sign all of them. And the only one that got enough signatures was Modi, because they were not fucking organized in their methods of collecting and verifying signatures as they collected them. It was just throw it against the wall, and whichever ones are valid, that's the ones we're keeping.
To turn in all your signatures at once. And so it's sort of a one shot only. You can't.
Which was another way that they tried to fucking confuse the fucking registrar of voters to get the fucking recall to go through, and it did not work.
Begins. There will not be one walkable neighborhood in districts 2, 3, or 1 that has not been canvassed by our team of volunteers.
Ready for a recall?
I think this is Les's church, too.
We are the people, and we are being reunited with the power of the people that has always been with us. You who are here in this room tonight, you are a part of a revival. A revival of
the people. What's up, Minty?
A revival of those famous words.
This was 2021.
That is how we are moving forward. The governed here no longer consent to what has been done to us. We are no longer satisfied with the job performance of
Are you a Shasta local?
Therefore, a recall has become necessary. This is the best, most lawful, most civil action we could have chosen to remove these supervisors, and we will replace them with representatives for the people. It doesn't get more grassroots than what we're doing in this room. Every single one of you has made a difference, and you will continue to make a difference. You are necessary.
Oh, sorry.
Leonard Modi, Joe Commenti, and Mary Rickert, and we will restore Shasta County. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Shasta County supervisors are counting on you to forget. Forget 2020. Just forget it. Forget that your businesses were forced to close. Forget the confusion. Forget the shifty science. Forget they locked you out of the chambers.
And I drove like a pretty big portion of District 2 the other day when I was up there. It's fucking, it's sparse.
Forget that they removed the seats from our chambers. Forget that they failed to terminate our local state of emergency. Just forget it. Forget when they said, I've sold my soul. Forget when
my grandparents are in the veteran cemetery there.
Forget all the wasteful spending. Forget that they pushed us to test, and then used those very cases to keep us shut down. Forget that some children will never recover. Forget that they prioritized their social contract.
If your kids aren't going to recover from like being at home with you,
almost back to normal, aren't we?
And you trying to help them fucking learn or trying to keep them on fucking task, that sounds like a you problem.
You're normal. We have raised our standard in 2020, and we want good government back. We recall what you've done and what you've said this last year, and we are holding you accountable for it. You are trying to stall us. You are trying to divide us. You are trying to demean us. You are trying to intimidate us. Keep trying us, and you'll find out what we're made of.
Ma'am, that sounds like a threat.
I'm willing to talk, but it needs to be anonymous. Much more of the CARES distribution money could have gone to our local businesses and not the county. All year long, Health and Human Services employees that were already on county payroll were clocking out of their regular pay and clocking into COVID pay.
Yeah, that's how that works. If they're going to be working at a different fucking position that's going to be subsidized by the state so that the county doesn't have to pay out money for that. It saves them money.
To be held accountable for this. They're shuffling millions of dollars around under our noses, and it has to stop.
As much as I love making fun of this, it's fucking grating sometimes. It's like, holy shit. These people claim to be fiscal conservatives and then don't understand how fucking fiscal works. Well, you're gonna feel fucking dumber because we're gonna fucking watch episode 5 now. It's like, imagine wanting to fucking like be in control of the government and like tell the government what to do and how they should fucking act and what their fucking purview is, and having absolutely no understanding of how it actually works, like in real life. Yeah, 2 + 2 = 5. That's for sure. 2 + 2 = 5, and wasted CARES money. This is some shit right here. Oh my god.
Hey, this is Dave, and I'm getting ready for another banner toll pickup.
Gonna go out in their helicopter plane. Get to the chopper! Talk about some fucking wasted ass money. Also, recall Shasta just makes the least amount of sense. It's like, you want to recall the whole county? You want to recall just Shasta? That's why their fucking broad ass movement was so like didn't work out as well as they hoped, because they were so broad and vague.
If you run away, baby, if you leave, I know that your mama said I'm gonna make you cry all night. I'll cry a river of tears that flows to the sea. Baby, if you run away, baby, if you leave.
Get ready for it starting to get unhinged and mostly about Nathan. Because they all think he's like a paid provocateur. And if anybody knows anything about content creators, is that most of them don't make any fucking money whatsoever.
With politics in America, people naturally focus on what happens at the national level because that's seen as the most important. That's seen as a pinnacle of politics is what happens up here. Who's in the White House? Who's in Congress? Who's running the country? In law enforcement, there's a theory called the broken window theory that if you deal
which is highly
with small crimes such as broken windows, that the large crimes are avoided. This is essentially what I would start
definitely not independent
to the governance. to politics is let's deal with what's in our backyard. Let's stop these people from committing crimes at the local level. Let's stop corruption at a level that we can actually touch and control.
But that has nothing to do with the broken window theory. You don't even know what you're talking about.
If I got away with this, I could do this. If I get away with that, I can do this. Before you know it, we're in full-blown third world communism.
No.
And if people think I sound crazy,
you do sound crazy.
For saying that, they think, oh, that'll never happen in America. Well, they better wake up and pay attention to what's going on at every level of government. If I ran my businesses the way that the county runs theirs, I'd be on the street, man.
Yeah, if it
we have a line
smashed. If you weren't aware, Shasta County is a full-blown third world communism.
Working at the hottest point of friction within the government. But then we have this super overarching management team that we're spending way too much money on. I mean, imagine if I hired a manager for every 2 or 3 employees. When I had thousands and thousands of employees, it would make no sense at all.
That analogy also doesn't work.
One of the emails or messages that I've gotten the most often over the last few months has been from people within the county.
Your attorney.
In the county. County employees who say, hey, you know what? We're behind you 100%. We support what you're doing. We're on your team. We're with you. But is what you're doing going to affect my job? And my answer to them is, if your job is important and you're doing a good job, it will not affect your job. It's not always an easy answer.
Carlos owns a bar in Tehama County.
Absolutely not. But government should never be in the business of simply employing people just for the sake of creating jobs.
And this is back when he actually owned the entire bar. Now it's like split into 3 different things and he only has like a portion of it because he's a fucking terrible business owner. I'm gonna go snatch up this fucking kitty over here. Yeah, gotten. Especially does it to me too. Especially when you gotten all this
cash. Let's talk about cash.
Yeah, especially when you gotten all this cash.
Cold, hard cash and lots of it. All our cash combined, property taxes, state and federal income taxes, licenses, permits, fines, penalties, and much, much more. This is what keeps our government going from our local counties to the state and federal levels. Some of our hard-earned cash comes back to us and back to our county. And we expect it to be used wisely so that our county prospers. The problem is most counties in America spend the majority of our taxpayer money on salaries, benefits, and pensions, often leading to an oversized and inefficient government.
Except for in your county, it's undersized because there's like 600 county positions that need to be filled, but you can't fill them because you don't have the building space and you don't want to support any kind of measures or grants or funds to get more space for your county employees so that your permit processes don't run 6 months behind. So your health and human services aren't lacking in support. So your mental health services and things like that can be properly funded. Imagine if you knew how government works when you decided to start fucking talking about it, Gioza Raposa.
In our budget, almost double.
Absolutely more comes back than that county pays. Shasta County is not a donor county.
Budget increased by $30 million and we haven't even reached the halfway mark yet. A majority of those increases will go towards newly created management positions and big salary spikes. Would we ever run a personal business like this? Certainly not. So why do we continue to allow our county to run like this? It's time for the people in your county and every county in the United States to rise up through responsible citizenship and demand transparency and accountability, not just for this generation, but for generations to come. As Thomas Jefferson said, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. Let's win our country back one county at a time.
The finalization of that budget. It ended up being a 4-1 vote. Patrick Jones voted against the budget. But Joe Commandy, as our chair, opened the public hearing and he asked for public comment.
Needed emotional support,
now,
kitten.
Alyssa McEwen, who is the leader of the recall, was in the audience. She did not come forward. No one came forward. They have had a CPA come in and meet with a CFO. Alyssa's come in and meet with our CFO. They've had the opportunity for 1 full year to evaluate, analyze, pick through our county budget. And there was not one comment. So I am going to assume that they didn't have a complaint.
Morning, Board. Mary, on the radio this weekend, you stated that I did not challenge you on the $600 million budget you passed at the last board meeting. You said on the radio that, as I sat here, I didn't make a comment as the budget passed, as if my silence were a seal of approval on that budget. As if, Mary, if you had stopped to think critically for even a moment about the reasons for my silence as the budget passed, you might have concluded that it's because my comments, just like all the citizens' comments this last year, are utterly ignored by you. Petition or plea, logical or angry.
Because the things that you want don't fall under the purview of the Shasta County Board of Supervisors.
As chair of this board in 2020, sat as deaf and dumb as a statue. Unbelievable. You, a supervisor, calling me a constituent out on public radio for my lack of dissent on an expanded, bloated county budget that you passed without a single qualm. Mary, this is the very absence of leadership, the self-righteous attitude, the disrespect for your constituents, and the exact ineptitude of personal responsibility for which you are being recalled.
Thank you.
How's everybody feeling?
Okay.
Air off.
Air off, and then back we go. See how innocent I was in 1985?
I highly doubt you were innocent back then with a dead bear in your lap.
Tell me you killed that bear with a knife.
I killed it with that handgun, right?
No
there.
way.
That damn bear just about ate me.
Hey. So you're on a bear hunting trip, but you didn't bring rifles.
Yeah, I've gone on a lot of bear hunting trips. My dad was a bear hunter and liked going out with old Leroy Leatherwood, which was an old-time bear hunter. And my dad liked handguns, and he was a good handgun shooter. And I was pretty good, but, being a good handgun target shooter and trying to take down a bear, a little different. After this particular hunt, and this was a big bear, this was number 9 in the state. He was 550 pounds, and he didn't cooperate too well. Even with a .44, he took 6 of them, and so it was a tough hunt. And after this, I decided I would use my rifle, and as a little bit easier. A lot of bears in this country, but what we did in those years, unbeknownst to us, we hunted the bear pretty hard, but we kept these numbers down. And these are predators; they eat deer. And by keeping these bear numbers down, the deer herds were good now. There's very few bear hunters anymore, and I haven't killed a bear in ages. And now our deer numbers are being decimated. We've lost over 50% of our deer herds now due to critters like this. They kill.
Well, imagine if you have a grocery store where you don't have to eat that fucking
so little bear hunting
shit.
is good. It's managed and controlled, and that's the way all things should be.
People pretend like venison's good, dude. It's not.
But if you don't, then you have chaos.
Bet you'd eat it. Bet you'd eat the shit out of a deer steak. Bet you would. Yeah, see, venison is either only good if you dry it all the fucking way out, or you take a couple of extra 3 or 4 hours to prepare it so it's edible.
We launched this whole thing, and you were the hero.
And
I mean, it's not that I don't like hunting. I fucking worked for Wilderness Unlimited for 2 years. I understand the benefits of proper fucking animal harvesting and fucking conservation and hunting. It's not about that for them. It's about fucking trophies and fucking going out with your buddies and fucking playing fucking murder fantasy.
And expect there not to be some serious pushback. Naturally,
right, Smash, you can get a bear tag and a deer tag all on the same day, and you can harvest both kinds of animals.
Support you. There's people that love you, and there's people that want the best for you, and they want to be a part of it. Once you start to hit some roadblocks,
right, but Berea is cooked for
the obstacles laid out by the
hours and hours and hours.
What we've done is we've identified a problem, and we've brainstormed solutions to that problem, and then we've chosen a course of action to address that problem. But right now, there's so much fighting right now. There's so much division, and people will say, well, you know, you've caused that division, Carlos. You guys at Red, White, and Blueprint have been the culprits of this fracture that we're seeing in our community. And I'd say, no, listen, if exposing...
Yeah, if you fuck with that photo cube too much, you're gonna summon fucking...
address that problem together. You know,
Reverge Anselmo.
This in a direction that's positive, in a direction where the community can get together to make Shasta County, make the northern counties here in California a better place to live. And I haven't lost hope. I think we can get there, you know?
So some fun facts about this fucking video right here. So this is Market Street, Blade and Barrel. This is where Nathan used to work. This is where Carlos and his little vigilante buddies, fucking Chris Meyer and Elizabeth Bailey, ganged up and fucking assaulted him in the back of the restaurant, right? Yes, ma'am, I will let you go. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for covering me in hair. So Carlos is a pretty regular patron of this particular restaurant. And by all accounts, from everybody who'd ever seen him there, this was not the place that he regularly sat at. This was a new thing. Also, his wife is wearing a wig. So as not to be fucking recognized on camera, he thought he was out of view of the fucking camera. That's all I have to say about this part. It's all very... He thought he was being very clever and orchestrating all of this shit to fucking try and intimidate and do some fucking vigilante fucking bullshit. Really fucking backfired on him.
As a father and a husband, how has that been emotionally on you to be leading a fight and then see kind of the family get drug into it?
Listen, if I have any source of pride in the world,
yeah, he got charged for sure. Really is my all three of them did.
You know, I mean, that is just amazing, and that's credit to my wife, to my kid's mom. You know, we've always instilled in our kids that you can have your differences, but you better always have each other's back when it comes down to it.
It was about probably close to 8:30, getting close to closing time. It wasn't a very busy night, so we were closing early. I did, as I always do, poke my head around front, take a quick look, say hi to the regulars, whatnot. At that time,
while literally everybody is overwhelmed by the music,
Nathan down at the end of the bar with Tommy as our bartender, and it looked pretty heated conversation. And so that's when I walked down and said, hey, we don't need this. Take it outside, go outside. And Nathan just kept going and picking and egging him. And so finally, Carlos was like, what do you want? And when he did that, his hand hit the glass and it set Nathan off. By that time...
But that's not what happened, though.
I'm trying to get back to work,
So I'm walking back down to the end of the bar to turn the corner to go back into the kitchen. And by that time, Nathan's passing me up, all heated, saying, I'm gonna shoot this mother.
Nope.
What? And next thing I know, he's going out the back door to go chase down Carlos. So I go out the door and look around the corner. He's already up at the front of the building, out in the street, yelling, screaming, and yelling. Went about my business, took some stuff to the walk-in, came back out. There had been some kind of a scuffle at the back door. Nathan got punched by Christopher. He's just...
Also, another fun fact. Like 2 days later, fucking Chris Meyer beat a fucking 60-year-old veteran out in front of the tropics almost to death.
Just ranting and raving back in the kitchen. And then the next thing I know, I look down, he's got a cocked and loaded gun in his hand.
No, he doesn't. That was such a fucking lie.
What the hell?
And it's still perpetuated today whenever they're like, oh, he's fucking unhinged and fucking carries around firearms.
Kind of corralled in the
It's
back
not
area.
fucking true.
And I just basically grabbed the gun and said, give me that gun. You're in no position right now.
Lies. 150% a lie.
Tommy was with him. I went into the dish room and hid it in the dish room so he couldn't find it.
Another fucking lie.
Honestly, if
All proven to be lies in
I
court
didn't
when this was going down.
he would have gone, but he was on his way outside.
Imagine being such a fucking snowflake that you have to have a whole ass fucking press conference because you fucking tried to start a bar fight and it ended up bad for you.
We pled not guilty in the case. I intend to prove his innocence at trial. We set the case.
It goes through it. There's more episodes. We're only gonna watch 3 today though.
We're ready to go.
Look at fucking Rich Gallardo fucking up back there. God damn it.
Mr. Zapata to be exonerated at that time.
Your opinion on these charges?
I will be able to exonerate him at trial.
No, he failed.
I was the elected supervisor for District 5 from 1990 through 2006, 16 years. The recall is not in the 5th District. I haven't been involved. I certainly have commented several times on the radio. You've probably heard that I feel this is the right of the people to do this. I mean, yesterday, I had lunch with 2 elderly ladies in the community who said, Trish, we just really want to know, well, what do you think about these idiots and that recall thing and all that, blah, 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 blah. By the end of that lunch, they were both going, well, I had no idea. Because they're all tied up in this Zapata Nathan thing. And that's not...
Because they were making a big fucking deal out of it.
Confrontation behind a bar. We're supposed to do it in public. When I served an average week, okay, I had several communities that I represented. I spent every Monday in one of those communities. I literally was there for 4 or 5 hours where the people could come, speak to me, bring me issues. So I knew what was going on in their communities. I don't see this board doing that. I don't see them going where the issues are for the community.
From when you were supervisor 20 years ago, our budget was $357 million. Now it's $600 million. Our population has only grown by 6%, only 10,000 people more.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the budgets?
I have no idea.
California is giving you more money.
Years that I was on the Board of Supervisors, we tore that budget apart. We had budget hearings that lasted an entire week. We went through every page of it. Supervisor Wilson and I spent 3 weeks with an accountant prior to that time pouring through that budget.
What I'm used to is a whole day set aside for the budget, a whole day, go through it department by department, and each of us comment on it, and then we take a vote and see if it passes or changes occur. Not the case here. A $600 million budget for this year was approved in roughly 10 minutes with zero discussion. Nobody had any comments. I had all my marks and highlights that I would like to discuss.
Usually those are health, have to do with county services and health and human services and mental health bucket shits. Stuff to benefit the fucking homeless problems. And those are the ones that you want to get rid of. And have more gun stores, I suppose, Patrick.
And moved on. And it was definitely wrong. And for that, I voted no. The budget for this year is now $600 million, and it passed 4-1.
I was appalled at that. I mean, we got...
So then that means that Les didn't even agree with you, Patrick.
I believe this statewide. We need at some point to go back to zero-based budgeting, i.e. make the department heads build a budget. What are you doing? Build your budget.
They do.
They've got.
You think the fucking department heads don't have a budget?
Equipment. It doesn't even exist anymore. That they're getting every year.
All this is that you were in government for 16 years and you still don't understand how government works.
Are they still doing this?
You're not doing yourself any favors by continuing talking.
Jobs, and I can give examples about that. But each department needs to go back and build a budget. This is
my lord, that's barely keeping up with cost of living.
This is how many desks I have. Build the budget from scratch as opposed to just getting everybody got a 2% increase this year. Everybody got a 5% increase. They need to go back and build a budget.
It's true this year's jump went from $570 million to $600 million. That's not uncommon for budgets to have that type of an increase. The problem is how that money is being spent and where it's going to. They should be proud and happy to discuss how well they're spending your tax money. But I'm seeing more of a cover-up than items being opened up for public discussion. And that concerns me greatly. And for that extra money, what have we received? Or is your life better today than it was 20 years ago in Redding or Shasta County?
I don't know, Patrick. You won't let it be better because you keep fucking pushing your own shit, and then the rest of the stuff they should be talking about just goes. They don't even fucking bring it up.
And the livability of our county has gotten worse. So what they have proved is that their ability to manage the county is bad. They have failed.
How long has Modi been on the Board of Supervisors?
Modi's been there, Leonard Modi.
At least since 2014.
Chief back when I first got on the Reading City Council. Vote 5-0 to let Leonard go in 2007. The following day, I get an email that our city manager, Kurt Starman, has given Leonard Modi the assistant city manager position that paid 14% more. Kind of like stuff we've seen around here with Eric McGreeny.
In less than 2 weeks, Shasta County Sheriff Eric McGreeny will step away from law enforcement and transfer to county administration as the assistant CEO. I spoke with County CEO Matt Pontus this afternoon. He says there are a lot of applicants for the position, but the sheriff rose to the top with his desire to give back to the community and be part of county improvements.
And now he's been MIA for like almost a year, and he's just selling real estate.
CEO will be June 20th. Under Sheriff Jason Barnhart will take over on an interim
basis. Yeah, Patrick owns a gun store. Well, Patrick's brother owns a gun store, and he manages it.
With an appointment or by calling a special election.
So I guess we really should start by going back in time a little bit to when Tom Bazinko was sheriff. And it seemed pretty obvious that he wasn't going to run the last time. What should have happened is he should have announced about a year out from his term ending that he wasn't going to seek re-election, and an election should have occurred. That's what we're used to in this county. Most counties, that's what happens. Well, Bazinko made a deal with the county that he would run again. So he did. He won barely, and then he announces his retirement. By doing this, now it allows the Board of Supervisors to appoint who they want. And this is the start of the problems with Sheriff Eric McGreeny. That he was appointed, he didn't run a race, the public did not get to vet him. So now we have a sheriff, Eric McGreeny, that's beholden to Matt Pontus, the CAO, and the Board of Supervisors. Instead of being concerned with the public and the department, he's more concerned with what's happening across the street. And this was obvious. The problems that were brewing within the Sheriff's Department were not going away. Sheriff Eric McGreeny was not addressing those problems. They were festering, and they finally got to the point where votes, not one vote, but 2 votes of no confidence occurred. Now that's unheard of. The votes of no confidence came from not only the rank and file deputy association, but the administration as well. Typically, with votes of no confidence, you wouldn't be able to get a job anywhere around this area. Matt Pontus, the CAO, recognized this problem, so they decided that they would.
It's like, no, that's just Patrick Jones's living room.
To a new position. So they created a new position. I voted no on it, but they created a deputy CEO position. And so you fast forward a few more months, and all of a sudden, Matt Pontus says, we have done our interviews, and Eric McGreeny applied for that position, and he rose to the top, and he has now been appointed Deputy CEO of Shasta County. Eric McGreeny, not in essence is getting fired, but he's getting promoted across the street for a substantial pay raise. Obviously, there's something more here.
Yeah, I would say getting out of the sheriff's department and into some other fucking county position is absolutely a promotion because ACAB, motherfucker.
Okay, so I'm gonna play you this. I just want to get your thoughts.
Listen, I'm telling you, all roads lead back to Modi. If you want to fix the county, you have to replace Modi. He believes he is unstoppable. Just so you know, it was a mistake to include Joe Schmente on the recall. People love Joe. Mary needs to go too, but the problem started and will end with Modi. Go back a few years and watch the votes. The majority of the supervisors vote on county decisions with Modi. Take Sheriff Pasenko, for instance. He was sheriff of Shasta County from 2006 to 2019. When Leonard Modi was the chief of police for Reading, Pasenko was the sheriff.
Oh, imagine it being a small town and people fucking crossing paths.
Modi didn't like that. When Modi became District 2 supervisor of Shasta County, he made sure Pasenko never received a pay raise. The problem is, elected officials like the sheriff all receive raises together. Otherwise, it seems some elected positions are favored over others. So this kept all the elected officials from
I know, right?
a raise for over 6
Also, how did they get Bane to call in?
Brian Muir, the county auditor, quit. When Brian Muir resigned, his assistant was making more than he was. So Pasenko finally resigned in 2019 and endorsed his under Sheriff McGreeny to become sheriff. McGreeny wanted the sheriff position and had loyalty to Modi. Under Sheriff McGreeny tried to turn the division against Pasenko, and he kept that divide and conquer strategy going when he was appointed sheriff by Modi. That didn't sit well with the Sheriff's Administration Association and the Deputy Sheriff's Association. They both gave McGreeny a vote of no confidence, having felt his divide and conquer strategy firsthand and felt the working environment had become hostile. McGreeny quickly retires. And what does the county do? The CEO, Matt Pontes, appoints McGreeny to a newly created position with an over 30% pay increase as second in command of the county. Modi's fingerprints are all over this. His next plan is going to bring the county to its knees. He has no intention of cleaning up the illegal grows in Shasta County. He'd rather see this county be the next Humboldt. The CEO, Matt Pontes, is building the Emergency Command Center. He and McGreeny will run it. They will simply enforce a tax on the growers in order to make a ton of money to increase local government.
Well, it brings it's you guys don't it's like
the reason former Sheriff McGreeny hasn't enforced anything related to
you can keep fighting it and you can keep supporting the black market and the fucking and the illegal grows and the destruction to fucking property and watersheds, or you could fucking lean into it, make it legal, which chokes out and brings down prices, and then make some fucking money off of it for your county that obviously fucking needs it. That is like, it's fucking obvious that they need to fucking get money wherever they fucking can. And spending more money on law enforcement to do a fucking job that they don't want to do, they're not equipped to do, and is kind of fucking pointless, because weed is fucking legal in California. You're just, again, you're wasting money where you don't need to waste money, where you could be making money smartly. But no, that's dumb.
Legal bros, and this new position isn't going to be different, except that the payments will be on the table instead of underneath. You watch. This is the plan. That's all I can say for now. I'll be in touch.
I don't know what the fucking rules are on grows in Shasta County anymore, to be perfectly honest.
Those are two very different things.
It's
something that I would like to know more about.
It's different than, City of Redding is different than Shasta County, obviously.
Though, you better not include it.
That's a lot. This county's it's just an awful mess from beginning to end. But the few people that I do talk to that are still in county government tell me that it's crazy. They don't have anything to do with their own budgets. They don't have any input to the CEO's office or the Board of Supervisors. Everything's just kind of handled. There certainly is questionable evidence from time to time, the decisions that I do watch, that some people know more than others at the board level.
What this does is this increases government. It increases a situation where if you work for the government or you work for the county, you're going to see some of this money. I agree with that. I think that that's the spot-on scenario of what they want to do. It's very obvious that this certainly is a scenario that people have to consider very strongly to be the truth.
And y'all aren't getting any of that money. John Knight. John Knight's the hydro store guy.
Now that we have a new sheriff, with McGreeny being gone, does the new sheriff comply with what these people want to do?
Yeah. These guys hate weed.
We're going to go to R4, which is adopt a resolution which, number one, waives Shasta County Personnel Rule 6.12, merit principles in connection with the appointment to fill the vacancy of Sheriff Coroner. 2, appoint Michael Johnson as Shasta County Sheriff Coroner effective August 15th, 2021 for the remaining duration of the unexpired term lasting until the first Monday after January 1st, 2023.
If the DSA and the SAA come out with a letter and they say, we want Sheriff Johnson, I will support them. I still think that this should have just waited 5 months, had the election in January, appoint then whoever wins as sheriff. I just keep saying,
well, if there's an election, then he's elected, not appointed.
What should have been done was simply waiting until the election, appoint, then see.
Imagine being upset that somebody's just going to be appointed instead of there being an election. You know, where an election is a process where the people speak and they want to fucking have the person that they elected instead of taking them out.
I humbly suggest that you decline the appointment by this power-drunk Board of Supervisors. Pause the appointment and regain our respect.
My name's John Green. I am a retired sheriff sergeant from the Shasta County Sheriff's Office. I worked from 1990 to 2017 when I retired. I have a very well-rounded grasp on the operations of the Sheriff's Office, and that's the reason that I decided to run. And I did, and boy, it was an experience, I tell you.
Tell me about that. 2018, you ran against Bisenko?
Yes. I lost the overall election by 1,672 votes. So that's 836 votes flipped, you know.
I heard something around 49% of the vote.
Yeah, I think it was like 48.2. So I started going to the board meetings, and
he looks like a fucking
one in particular
campaign sign.
They were going to appoint Magrini, I believe, the same fashion that they just did with Michael Johnson in basically one meeting. And so I got up, said my speech, and said, hey, you know, the people spoke. You know, I was a very close second place. If he can't fulfill his term, you know, you guys need to appoint me. Listen to the people, the constituents. And so from there it went to, we're going to hold this public interview process, which is actually in the county code, the personnel code, or personnel rules, that they circumvented yesterday during that vote. So they went through that process. We had to apply and go through a public interview process in the board chambers, you know, and just a table and the 5 board asking you questions. And so we did that, and, you know, obviously they appointed Eric Magrini, you know, Les Boss sat there and said, yeah, we need somebody to hit the ground running.
Yep, in the flag codes it is considered
I believe you will have
disrespectful to make clothing out of print that looks like the flag.
I think the process is right. I'm going to ask you to personally support this appointment as sheriff of Shasta County because it's the best thing for the county.
Modi in the paper just basically bashed me, saying that I was not qualified for the position of sheriff. Then during his couple minutes on the pulpit, you know, he makes that comment again. I lacked the requisite requirement or requisite qualifications to be sheriff.
Quite frankly, when Mr. Green applied for the job last time, as well as the sergeant from Tehama County, they presented their information to us and their resumes, and there was nothing that I heard or saw that day that made me think that either one of those gentlemen had the prerequisite skill set to be the sheriff. And so unless they've done something between now and then, nothing would change my mind, and I regard it as if he was...
So it wasn't just him, it was the other guy who applied too from Tehama County that they didn't think was qualified.
Qualifications for sheriff per the state of California and the Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to run. You know, there was one supervisor that hit it on the head, man. Give it to the people. Give it to the...
Let me guess, was that Patrick Jones?
An excellent chief. He's demonstrated that in the city of Anderson. So there's no question his qualifications.
However,
what are the qualifications of Scott Kirtland, of John Green? We didn't hear any of those today. It's almost as if this decision was predetermined. And it just goes to the frustration of the public.
Well, Johnson had the endorsement of his entire fucking police department.
We've had failed leadership within the sheriff's department from the sheriff himself. That sheriff was appointed by this board. You have to earn it by running an election, and we have that perfect opportunity to do it right now. The timing is exact. You need about a year to prepare, and we will have lots of forums, lots of debates, and we will ask the sheriff questions, and then we will hold you to it.
No, because then what happens is that it all fucking degrades into a fucking shit show because that's all you guys are capable of at this time.
Excellent man.
Even now, it's all you guys are capable of is a fucking shit show.
In your city, I would ask you, please run for that position. Earn it the way the sheriff should. I will not support the appointment. Thank you.
Given the magnitude of this, I will ask Stephanie to do a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Clementi?
Yes.
Supervisor Modi?
Yes.
Supervisor Rickard?
Yes.
Supervisor Jones?
No.
And Supervisor Ball?
Yes. Well, the motion passes 4-1. Congratulations, Chief. You are now our sheriff.
a single fucking complaint about him since, except for the other side that says that he's not doing enough to eradicate fucking illegal grows. They don't have the manpower to do so. Yeah, he was pretty well supported, and you know, say what you want about ACAB and all, you know, I mean, they're right. But he was a pretty well liked dude up there, I suppose. All right, last Red, White, and Blueprint episode for the day, and then we will move on to something else. Yeah, they don't have any money for anything for weed. This is the silliest thing. This is fucking silly. I don't know what it is with these guys that like think they're fucking karate masters and fucking ninjas and shit. It's like, come on, dude. America, USA, steal everything from every other fucking culture. I'd like to see Carlos and Woody like really fight. Because Drake, he teaches Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
We go to these people's homes.
Well, at least we got Pepe back,
and
right?
They have the American flag in their yard, and they have all this signage, and then they open it. Oh, hi, we're here from Recall Shasta. Have you heard about what we're doing? Oh, yeah, I don't do politics. You're telling me that you don't have time for politics, or worse, that you don't do politics. Like, until we as a society decide that politics isn't a bad word or a dirty word or a word that, we don't talk politics at the dinner table. Why not?
Because why?
If I've learned anything, it's that apathy is gonna kill us. That will be the end of the great experiment.
Well, only because you panic attack over everything.
If you're a Christian, you go to church. Probably once a week, right? You're willing to give up about 2 hours a week, every week, to go to church, to be
Minty, exactly. That's the nice way of saying it.
Expected and required.
It's like bless your heart.
Government. You get the government you deserve. We deserve a garbage government. If the recall succeeds, that is not a guarantee that we will have good government.
What's up, Law Dog?
I'm American through and through. I'm a patriot through and through, okay?
Also, look at the fucking smoke from the fires right there.
What have you done for your country?
The air quality index is at like fucking 300, 400. They're like, let's drag our kids around the fucking neighborhood and make them walk up and down the street.
That if we could just get the right.
This is Alyssa McEwen. She is also known as Alyssa Bullhorn.
Right, that would
and
save
she's a fucking
our country. That would
I think
save
she
our state.
did private yoga lessons or something.
And it's this hero complex we have. If we could just replace that one key position, not to say they're not important, but that will not save America. It will be somebody
Mini Wrench has entered the chat
and doing the right thing and continuing to do it week after week the rest of their lives. It's doing whatever is within your power to do. And that's what our supervisors never did, right? It was within their power to open the board chamber.
Mini Wrench, this is old, but we're going to watch some stuff that's new in a little bit, and you'll get to see how crazy it is up there. I know the rest of the fam up there doesn't really pay much attention, but,
for the science.
you know,
it was within
you
their
absorb
power to
things
ask
a little
our
bit
Health and
differently.
Human Services to track metrics of what was happening in our hospitals with vaccine injury or whatever, right? There is a lot that's within their power, even if it doesn't necessarily have teeth.
Yeah. Even though they're not making episodes of this anymore because they promised 10, but they only gave us 7 or 8 or however many. They're still doing podcasts and crap.
Jones accusing Modi and Starman of conspiring to spike his pay, and also says the city council unanimously voted during a closed session to fire Modi as police chief. Jones is adamant the meeting happened just the way he describes it. And
Yeah, it didn't though. It's also a lie.
polygraph expert.
Jones is a fucking sociopath, so obviously he can fucking fuck around with a lie detector test.
Any issues?
If you believe your own bullshit, you'll pass one.
And I encourage
That's why they're not admissible in court.
all to get tested to show the public what really happened, and to be honest, to be truthful.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to turn the system on. We're going to go over the questions with the numbers first. You just sit perfectly still for me. No deep breaths, no body movement. The polygraph system is very sensitive to body movement, so we need to get these done with no artifacts in the charts. This portion of the test is about to begin. Sit still, do not move. Answer the questions yes or no. Do you sometimes drink water?
Yes.
Are the lights on in this room?
Yes.
Do you intend to answer the questions concerning the closed chambers meeting in September 2007 truthfully?
Yes.
Right? Why didn't they just give this test to him with the e-meter?
About a closed chamber meeting which occurred in September 2007 where it was decided to terminate Chief Modi?
No.
Are you being deceptive that a 5-0 vote in favor of terminating Chief Modi never occurred?
No.
Are you being deceptive about the question Starman asked concerning Modi's retention of employment for 1 year with a 20% pay increase?
No.
Were you alone in this closed session meeting?
No.
This portion of the test is over. Sit still, do not move until you feel the air pressure release on the blood pressure cuff.
All that space, and he like his mouse pad is still hanging off of the edge of the table. Why do I fixate on these things?
You did good, Patrick. You passed.
I passed.
You passed.
Like a lot, it says a lot about you how you organize yourself for presentation, and when you look fucking sloppy, it just is like, it's like, what other details are you missing? It's something just simple like that. Like, you could scoot your computer over and move your fucking mouse pad over so it doesn't fucking hang off of the fucking table.
Last Friday's announcement of mandatory vaccination order for healthcare workers in California is causing uncertainty for the future of the healthcare.
I am a nerd.
Deadline for California healthcare workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19 is the end of this month. That's not sitting well with healthcare workers.
Also, the My Body, My Choice fucking thing.
The executive order will affect
is just the irony.
about 75 days to get vaccinated.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. We have the tools to combat COVID-19, and a distinct minority of Americans, supported by a
What happened? the hell? What the hell?
Prize.
Giving them about 75 days to get vaccinated.
Have us quit if we don't get the vaccine.
To go. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
I don't know what happened there.
Protecting yourself and those around you.
They said we were heroes, some of us got sick, and now they want to fire us or have us quit if we don't get the vaccine.
Yeah, because you're working in fucking healthcare.
They will go through the standard HR process, which includes counseling and face disciplinary action.
Jen Psaki, man, she has like, love her. Yeah. It's the distress flag, my lord. I like sitting on top of that parking garage when I'm at the hospital and smoking weed. See that?
My name is Josh Watkins. I live here in Redding, California. I work at Mercy Hospital in Shasta. I'm a perfusionist. I operate the heart-lung bypass.
So you get the parking garage right there, and then directly over from there, there's those 3 rows of windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows long, 3 rows, points out over the hill right there. Not the one that juts out. That's the birthing center right there. And the top one in the middle is where Mini Wrench was born.
My name is Josh Watkins. I live here in Redding, California. I work at Mercy Hospital and Shasta Regional Hospital. I'm a perfusionist. I operate the heart-lung bypass machine in open heart surgery. I've been in contact with other healthcare workers in my field and in others, and most of them just want the choice as to whether or not to take the shot or not. We don't have the data yet. We don't know the long-term effects. Even the people doing the trials have not completed the trials. We are the trials. The hospitals have been giving out statistics to the news media saying that, 95% of the employees have been vaccinated and they're in compliance. It's closer to 30, 40%, maybe 45% that have chosen that they are not going to.
It says a lot about your fucking community when all your fucking healthcare workers are pilled. That's fucking awful.
5%, which is what they're trying to lead the public to believe. Even if you're not in healthcare and you're not in law enforcement, you say, this doesn't really affect me. It will.
Even if you're not in healthcare and you're not in law enforcement, you can see the fucking air right there is awful because of all of the fire.
The grocery store, you can be able to go to the hardware store.
It's amazing that these fucking protests took place at the same time where the air quality index was at like between 4 and 500.
Because if we do give this
and these fucking assholes had their kids out in this protesting on the walking up and down the streets. Obviously, they're not wearing any fucking masks.
15 years, and currently I work in a local hospital here as a OR nurse. Just over a couple months ago, they were talking about it as it being a possibility. Then we said, no, we're not going to do the mandates. And then it morphed into, you must get this by September 30th or you're going to be disciplined. And for me, I had the virus. So back in December, checked my antibodies 2 weeks ago. I still have antibodies. And just all the research I've seen, natural immunity is far better than what the vaccines offer. And you put yourself at risk. There's no one size fits all when it comes to a vaccine.
But there's no one size fits all that comes to anything.
It's a great tool.
Like literally anything. All of these things are tools. Medications are tools. But exercise is a tool. Masks are tools. Vaccines are tools. All of these things are tools.
They cannot.
And like,
I think we're blessed here in Shasta
you have a more comprehensive ability to correct a problem if you're not always missing your 10 millimeter fucking ratchet socket.
That they grew up with as kids, and they want to raise their kids the same way. What it would be nice to see from the Board of Supervisors is any kind of support of that. It seems just like deaf ears, closed door chambers. We want people that are going to listen to the people on the ground here, the people that care enough to show up on a Tuesday morning to voice their concerns, and then have something happen from there. Right now, it's been a one-way conversation.
And tonight they're calling it a medical freedom rally. Healthcare workers and their supporters who don't want to follow the state mandate to be vaccinated for COVID.
And some of those signs reading freedom to choose, honk for freedom, stop the madness, and really people of all ages.
My middle, Emma, she's 11, almost 12. And
Just use the
she's really
3/8
taken
inch. You know what?
more of an active role or an inquisitive role lately in wanting to know why. You know, she'll get up at 6:30 in the morning and she'll come out to these rallies with me and wave an American flag over the overpass.
Look at all that garbage you left there on that fucking thing.
She's just at a young age, she's
gonna have fucking asthma.
I know for my children, we're definitely not doing it. Where's the risk-benefit analysis of a child getting the vaccine? There is none.
So September 30th is the date that the state has given for a compliance.
But for those who choose not to get the shot, they have to get tested twice a week.
So I work at both hospitals. That could be up to 4 times a week that I have to be tested. And so if we have a false positive, I potentially would have to sit out and not be able to go to the hospital for the period of time that they think I need to be in quarantine, whether I'm showing symptoms or not.
Oh, dude. Okay, here, hold on. Let me tell you something. So my cousin is an RN. And she worked at one of the hospitals up there through COVID, through the whole fucking thing. And in 2021, so I think it was after this happened, in 2021, she went to Cabo with a group of friends around Thanksgiving. And they came back, and every single person got COVID except for her. Every single one of them. 2 of her friends died. And everybody in her house had it. And she kept testing negative. And so they kept having her go into work because they're short fucking nurses. I bet you can guess why. She was the second person in Shasta County to get her COVID shot. She was the second one. So finally, after the 5th person that she was associated with tested positive, they finally were like, okay, well, you have to quarantine. So not only did they make her quarantine, they made her quarantine for 14 days for every person that was in her family cluster that tested positive. So 14 days times 5. That she had, so it was about 6 weeks that she had to stay home. Eventually, you know, before they allowed her to go back to work. And she's an RN, and she makes good money, and she has lots of vacation time and shit. So she was fine, and it didn't affect her pay at all. But, you know, it's the part of that kind of blows me away a little bit is even like up to 4 people that it was in her home that tested positive for COVID. Even when she was still testing negative, they still needed her to come in because she worked in the ICU, and now they needed her. There was no way that they could have gone without her. I think I can't remember what the limit is on how many patients they're supposed to assign you in a shift, but she had almost double that. And the amount of bullshit that she had to deal with. And she's a conservative. She's not a liberal. She's definitely a conservative, 100%. My whole family up there is conservatives. And, but the fucking ridiculousness surrounding this, just trying to get her job done and how it was kneecapped by these fucking assholes still pisses me off to this day.
Time to even get a week off. So to think that they're just going to immediately be able to replace me that morning or that afternoon or whatever is not going to happen.
If we lose 10% of our workforce, this is not good. People are already working 18-hour shifts. just to be able to meet the need currently.
People are going to get sick. I've watched people get sick for a variety of reasons my entire career. But if we've reached the point where we have reached in our county, we're no longer in a state of emergency, then turn it off.
The reality of it is that there's injuries that have happened. And there's been, in the VAERS report, over 13,000 people who have died post-vaccine. And that's more deaths in the past 8 months in the VAERS reporting than the past 15 years. This is the problem.
I'm not even going to go into VAERS. That's all.
Now you've taken these individuals and given them the power and the authority to enact that will. That's it.
Hello, Curious. Hello, darling. Hello.
They completely went AWOL because they knew that there was going to be a couple hundred healthcare workers coming to the Board of Supervisors.
The majority of the board has called in today, and they're not going to be present at the boardroom. However, I have a key. So in a few minutes, we'll start walking down, and we'll get over to Court Street and then over to the admin building.
A few weeks ago, many, if not hundreds, of healthcare workers voiced that they were going to be at the Board of Supervisors meeting. They couldn't even show up. They couldn't even show up to the meeting. They have been employed
because there was threats.
By us
because people called in death threats
and
to Mary Rickert and Les Baugh and Joe Cominti.
In this whole recall mandates, my question to myself is, where do I put my voice? And there was something inside me that said, now's the time to stand up. The Board of Supervisors, they believe they're impotent. They believe that they have no power against the state and that they can't do anything. And I say they're more powerful than they believe they are.
So after we sat there and listened to healthcare workers and other people in the community share their stories and their concerns, and I told her, hey, we'll leave after this next speaker. And she said, actually, Dad, I would love to get up and say something. And initially I was torn inside of like, there's a room of a couple hundred people here. What does she have to say that hasn't been said? And yet immediately push that down of like, it doesn't matter what she says. I'm showing her the courage that you can have a voice and that it's important to stand up and say it when you feel called to do so.
I don't know a lot about what's going on, but I know enough that I know we need to fight for our right.
Her name is Emma. My name is Josh Watkins, and I'm up here because she had the courage to say that she wanted to say something. None of you probably know what I do. I run the heart-lung bypass machine in open heart surgery. There's 2 of us in this town. We were both in this room today. When we can't show up for work, the hospital goes on diversion, which means the ER can't take critical patients and the helicopters fly right over us. Neither one of us are getting this vaccine. I'm here because the Board of Supervisors is failing, other than Patrick. Closely related to the recall. I support it 100%. If I don't show up for my job, as I just explained to you, people die. On Saturday night at 10 p.m., I got a page. I did not want to go to work. Somebody was having a very critical problem. They were dying. I worked until 6 a.m. the next day. If I had not have showed up, there would have been nobody to do my job. These guys can't show up their job, and I'm sorry, your jobs are not as important as mine. All of you have the power that I'm talking about to stand up and to be the voice when you think you don't. You're more valuable than you think you are. And the team that I work with at both hospitals in this town feel very strongly and very similar.
Right, my lord, at like the very most vulnerable point in their fucking life, this fucking asshole like standing over him fucking.
And it's because there's gonna be nobody
unvaccinated and shit. An already fucking icky environment because you're in a fucking hospital.
So I hope that you 3 are beginning to realize that if you had stood for our Constitution and against government overreach, you wouldn't be in the middle of a recall right now.
Your failure to defend the citizens who hired you and bowing to Newsom's unconstitutional lockdowns and mandates is why you're being recalled.
There's a sign out front. What is, Outbreak Building?
okay, we're making more stuff up. Karen and Danelle, yeah, I see you back there. Where's the mask? Where's the plexiglass? Where's the social distancing? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I was in La La Land there for a second.
Perhaps our federal government will save us from COVID with this mandate. And I thank you. I thank you for standing by it.
It's astonishing to me. And now we have protests against vaccine mandates for healthcare workers in Reading. Well, I'm sorry, because if you find yourself in that position, you should be vaccinated. It isn't just your body.
Thank you, Kathy.
I'm almost done.
We're about a minute over.
Okay. You have all been uniquely chosen to be placed in authority for such a time as this. May you, like all of these countless examples from history, stand up, stand on the right side of this lunacy, and say no to these obvious overreaches. If you do, as you can see from history, you will be in very good company.
You mentioned a local mandate, and I was wondering what you were referring to, because this board has not issued any mandates.
It's coming from the state.
Thank you.
The state was mandating, but you as a board get to be able to defend us from the state. Absolutely.
No.
You can hire someone who is at the Board of Health and Human Services that can do this and be able to defend us and say, no, in this county, people have a choice.
No.
Then not that people will be able to be mandated to do this.
That's not how government works, dude.
Thank you.
This is why you're not fucking employed by the government and you're employed by the hospital, because they get you a little fucking leeway for being loony. I mean, just look at Dr. Oz, right?
I was wondering if Mr. Cruz could weigh in on this. Do you know what kind of authority our Board of Supervisors actually has?
It's my understanding that the state public health officer has issued this an order in connection with mandating vaccinations for healthcare workers. So that's coming from the state. This board does not have independent authority to overrule the state or say that it's not going to apply here.
A mandate is not a law. It did not go through a legislative process. And yet they're saying that you either do this or be fired or removed.
I don't understand why they decided to use this particular lump of footage. It doesn't make them look good at all.
Sacramento. And if you're not willing to defend us from Sacramento, why are you here? Right. I mean, really, why are you here? And that's the rift that we're having.
Yeah, you can expand upon mandates and make them more stringent, but you can't dial them back. That's not how it works.
And so
I bet you all these people are for states' rights. I bet you all these people right now that are fucking that made this documentary are all for states' rights.
For the health of our community.
There have been
they tried to fucking recall Gavin, and he was fucking knocked out by 65% of fucking people. They don't.
Ruben, I really appreciate
these we do 100 fucking randos in Shasta County have no finger on the pulse of the rest of the fucking state.
And make a public stand and state our opinion. It doesn't matter that we can't rewrite state law. What matters is we state our local constituency. And for my district, I represent it well, and I'll continue to represent it for the next 17 months by saying our responsibility is to state our opinion as we believe the residents of our district want us to. And in this case, I do want to have the discussion publicly, whether or not this board votes to stand up collectively to the state. That's up to the board.
I mean, all that means is you're just going to write a strongly worded letter. That's all that means.
Disagree with this state mandate, that you contact your state representatives.
And I would like to make a motion that we have this discussion on the agenda about, mandatory vaccines, because it is an issue that impacts a lot of people. So I'm making that motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes unanimously.
My name is Tom Patty. I'm current chairman of the board of San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors.
It kind of comes full circle how I got to the position I'm in as county supervisor. I began boxing in Stockton, California. I was born in New York, and I knew my boxing interests exceeded what Stockton would offer. So I had an opportunity to go, long story short, go live upstate New York in Catskill with Casti Amato, and in his training camp of it. And many fighters had come and gone. Ultimately, several years later, myself and Mike Tyson were Cuss's last two fighters to be living and training with him. After Cuss passed away and probably 10 nose operations, being Italian, a lot of surgeries on my nose to keep fighting, I had decided I was done with boxing and I moved on. Again, long story short. Eventually, I had a business opportunity that brought me back to Stockton. And Mike had come out, we did some fundraisers for local orphanage. And while Mike was here, he said, I want you to do me a favor. I said, what's that? He goes, I want you to run for office. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? I actually looked at the opportunities, how I could, as a business person, get involved, and instead of complaining about things that are wrong and how the business community is oftentimes hurt by some of the bad decisions that come down through bureaucracies and lawyers and career politicians, I decided to get involved.
Oh, what is this? San Joaquin County? Hold on. San Joaquin County Board of Supervisors approved a resolution that advocates for California public health officials to allow school districts and parents to decide their own mask requirements for children attending in-person school. Well, I would be willing to bet that their vaccination levels at that point were probably higher than what Shasta County's is. I now live in San Joaquin County.
Yes, that's something that I brought as chairman this year. That's one of the issues that
Turkish
community has spoken out. Many parents, and there's a grassroots effort by an organization called Let Them Breathe. I think it's important for parents to have a decision and to say so in their child's well-being, especially at school. You start to see the detriment, the psychological and emotional.
You gotta go around. You want to come over here, you gotta go around.
This is really damaging in people's lives. I've met with people and watched them break down and cry as they talked about how they've lost everything. We sent a message to Sacramento. We sent a message to our health department.
209.
We also
I'm next to the place where they're famous for their sausages, Cruft. I don't know what section you're
myself from. And others have gone to some school board meetings and shown our support for parental involvement in the decision making. And that's all we're asking for. I'm a father. I would want to be involved if a decision is going to happen that involves my child's health and well-being. I certainly would want to be involved in that.
Doc, I just was at Nations a couple days ago last week.
I've always been open to that, and will continue to be open to that. I'm just curious as to what would be the outcome. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious we can't tell these people that we can protect them from the state.
During an emergency declaration, as we are currently under, we can be more strict, but we cannot be more lenient than what the state is mandating. And so it kind of puts you in a precarious position. But I believe more importantly is it should be sending a message, and school boards should join us in this chorus so that the bureaucrats and the advisors and the administration in Sacramento is aware that there's a call to action and there's a call for local control.
We have taken action as a board stating our position, so I'm not sure restating that makes any difference. I certainly see no need in bringing a bunch of people together when our numbers are spiking in our community. So I think I would say my motion is to postpone the meeting with the possibility of cancellation if it's no longer a relevant issue.
If you ignore the public, it's at your own peril. We're public servants, but we work on your behalf and we appreciate your engagement. And whatever that subject is, we have to pay attention and be attentive to the needs of the public. We have, as a board, expressed our desire that
so all they did was write a strongly worded letter.
Conduit. We want to be part of that narrative. We want to send messages. We want to speak out. We want to be on
He's like, no, you want me over
We
there,
want to
so
be
I'm not going.
we want to be heard on behalf of the people's voice.
This resolution is a resolution opposing state-imposed vaccine or mask mandates. Whereas Shasta County is a
The area that I'm in is actually still pretty reasonably priced. I don't know if you're renting or buying or whatever. Please don't.
in the county that are
I mean, you can go to Shasta County, sure.
general law.
You may want to look at like Tehama.
Every competent adult to make an informed decision.
I'm not a huge fan of Southern California, and I haven't really spent a whole lot of time down there, so I couldn't tell you where to go.
Under the 14th
That's the area you're
United
headed.
States Constitution and the right of privacy of the California Constitution, that Shasta County Board of Supervisors strongly oppose state-imposed mask or facial covering mandates or requirements, whether through executive order, California Department of Public Health guidelines, state public health officer, or any other similar legislation that infringes upon the rights of the citizens to make their own healthcare choices. That is my resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Is there a second to that motion? So it appears that it fails for lack of a second.
I'll tell you something else we're doing, and it was it's been discussed openly, and we've taken a vote on it in closed session. It was a very close vote, but we decided to pursue a lawsuit against the state requesting the science. If we're following the science, what science? Validate the mandates that you are implementing.
All of that was widely available
denied our
at the
public
time,
records request.
and it's even more widely available now.
And so we've had to
What's up, Pete Jensen?
this to a full-blown lawsuit, and we've retained counsel to do so, and we're expending dollars to pursue our right.
So they're wasting money in order to. Damn it. Damn it, San Joaquin County! I thought you were gonna do better. That you were gonna do better for me. Nope.
Our citizens, we want to see the science. And we're going to spend money. We're going to pursue this so that you are legally bound to.
You pre-wasted my tax dollars on some bullshit that was already available to you. Damn it! Damn it!
I'm pleased to know that.
Write a strongly worded letter.
Counties might pay attention to it. I'm glad to hear that. We're trying to make decisions and challenge status quo. I think that's one of the most important things you can do is challenge status quo. I'm not one to just lay down and roll over if somebody tries to put the bull on me or bulldoze me or try to intimidate me. I'm going to stand up and
Armor and quills, what's going on?
The greatest thing I think anybody could do when serving the public is help change the trajectory of
I
where you're
suspect
going.
Lady B
And
should
there's
be
some
here
people
shortly.
that status quo is just fine. And whether you're in the ring or out, you need to be responsive to the challenge.
You mentioned Australia.
and
That
you need to
generally
address
some of
it in a manner that is to the benefit of a community, not to the benefit of a single interest.
Yeah, because it wasn't going to do any good.
From the date that the Registrar of Voters approved the petitions, we had 120 days to gather enough signatures to qualify to put this on the ballot. So 120 days is Wednesday, September 29th. And all the petitions have to be turned in at once by one of the proponents. They have a certain number of days to.
Everybody, literally everybody, as soon as they come in here, they're like, oh, the music.
If we have the qualifying number to call a recall election. Last year, we had 5 supervisors and we had an AQI of, 200 to 500, which means unhealthy for all populations. And we were locked outside week after week, month after month, as they sat in here and hosted the board meetings. This man unlocked the chambers today, and I want to point out that that's something that not one of the 5 supervisors last year did. So thank you, Patrick.
We have enough signatures to submit today at 11:45. So we're heading over to the ROV now, Register of Voters. This is 4 months worth of...
I don't understand how...
Ending into...
Anytime anybody goes up to that motherfucking podium and has shit to say about Tim Garman wearing a Recall Kevin Cry shirt should immediately be shown a la Clockwork Orange style with their eyelids pried open. Every millisecond of footage that Patrick Jones is here propagandizing to fire his coworkers, 3 of them, but Modi in particular.
With the recall of Leonard Modi, the folks from Shasta Recall have been working hard all summer. It's been very tough between the 110-degree days.
There needs to be a Recall Kevin Cry docuseries.
Volunteers. It's been quite a monument.
When it's all over, I think we might put one together. It'll be fun.
The worst offender. We have certified these signatures, and we're confident that the Register of Voters will do the same.
We have been locked out of the chambers before. They have discussed too much behind closed doors. So it's not too critical for us to start to think that they might be avoiding their constituents. Hopefully that's not the case.
Well, when you fucking nutters are the ones showing up, I'd be avoiding your asses too.
They don't see this as an issue at all. It is their utter lack of attention to their citizens that is reason enough for them to be recalled.
In this county, and I'm sure in others, people are desperate for a change. They want real leadership. And so I think today we start something that other counties can look forward to and see how it's done. Our journey has been, better part of a year to get to this point, but we got it done. And so I'm pretty proud.
I think they need to pass a fucking law in California that you can't actively campaign to recall a supervisor while you're a supervisor.
Change here in Shasta County.
Today, grassroots organization Recall Shasta will deliver petitions with more than 6,000 signatures to the Shasta County Registrar of Voters. Despite multiple challenges, including wildfires, evacuations, toxic smoke, desperate incumbent politicians, and smears from Southern California political operatives, our volunteers still collected.
What Southern California political operative was smearing you? You can't smear people that you're just repeating what they say and then going, and that's not smearing.
Number of signatures and disenfranchise thousands of voters for District 2's recall to come up short. So it is more than likely that Supervisor Leonard Modi will have to face voters this fall. They've done everything they could to avoid facing voters. We will not.
I think that's what this soundtrack is called, Law Dog, is the perpetual victim card.
To thank all the volunteers, our business owners, our donors, and the voters.
Our lovely flying syringe has made it to the chat.
And to restore accountability in our local government. Thank you. Great job, guys. All right.
That's your cue to clap.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey man, it's Josh. We got the letter we've been waiting for last night, basically just saying that my exemption request had been denied. This is where we have to draw the line though. If they can require us to get this initial shot, then what's the limit to the next thing that they require? this is going to leave us even more short-staffed. I know that emergency room is already operating at like...
It's like a whole movie, but it's in like 45-minute chunks.
They're bringing in the National Guard, or have brought in the National Guard to fill holes, along with state nurses that they're paying exorbitant amounts to replace the employees that have been...
Like, who's running next to him with the camera? Or who's running around with the camera? Is that John? Is it Jeremy? Who's running around with him?
Facet.
It is like an ad. It's like one big long ad.
I want to take a COVID shot that's experimental, then I'm just thrown by the wayside and they can find somebody who has. I'm bummed.
Flying syringe and mini wrench, just so you guys know, y'all have the flute in common. Just saying.
Might really be going on here.
Without doxing anybody.
That's the latest. Thanks, man. See ya.
Ba-da-ba, 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 ba-da-na-na-na.
In the valley, but I doubt I do anymore.
Okay, y'all have to wait till next week for 6.5. Sorry. So we are going to, okay, there's a bunch of you here. I got to show you this thing. So, oh man, I can't remember. I know we were all at the tropics, I think. And we all decided that we were fucking hella local. And so I said, hey, Dave, I'm dumb and I'm drunk and I need this shirt. And Dave was like, oh, well, we need to fucking talk about our fourth wall more, because that's their biggest complaint that they have about us, is that we don't talk about fourth wall enough. So we now have this hella local shirt. It's super simple. It's just black, red, and white. Those are our signature colors. And with our little Echoplex Media logo on it. That's nothing on the back. It's just hella local. And I fucking love it. Also, the new Down Ballot logo is amazing. Oh, I love the new Down Ballot logo. Looks good in every fucking color. No credits. No credits for Mini Wench. But yeah, the hella local shirt is fucking fabulous. Thank you, Dave, for catering to my every fucking t-shirt whim and making this for us, because we're hella local. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you, Fourth Wall, too. Fourth Wall is fucking amazing. So I think that we are going to have to... Let's peruse the menu on Mountaintop. Oh, no, wait. Actually, I'm lying. There should be a new... I think you have to do capital B, capital O for Big Orange. We're going to go to KCNR and see what Sunday's radio show was. We want the Poke the Hornet's Nest. But also there was another one that I saw a commercial for that was like some fucking real estate one, that living in the North State. Yeah, that's hysterical. Also, Dane Wigington has a show. The Flot Line. God, there's so many weird ass shows on this station. Shasta Outdoors Radio. I wonder what that's like. Maybe later. We need to listen to this Poke the Hornet's Nest, though. With Nick Gardner. Sorry, Nick Gardner. What is this? Archives. Sunday, February 18th. Yay, new episode.
Shows on KCNR are those of the hosts, guests, and callers only, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, or advertisers of KCNR Radio.
Luxury cruise ships are offering pirate hunting cruises to customers. In these cruises, instead of being victims of pirates, people pay around $5,700 per day to sail near Somalia on heavily armed private yachts. They hope to attract the attention of real pirates. When the pirates approach, the armed passengers on these yachts open fire.
Are we going to talk about pirates on this episode?
Machine guns and rocket launchers. The yachts also come with...
Okay, I can sit here and listen to Nick Gardner and Janky talk about missile launchers and fucking pirates. That'd be hilarious. It's not going to be that fun.
I'm taking donations. If you'd like to send in $20-30, we'll send Carl over there. He probably needs a little bit of practice.
Well, I tell you what, the rich people will do whatever they need to do for kicks, isn't it?
Ha! I imagine the pirates recognized what they're up to, and they probably shy away from those trips.
Good morning, Mr. Nick. Welcome to Poke the Hornet's Nest, everybody. Nick, how was your week, sir?
Well, I went to the Banff Film Festival.
I think this is Clear Channel.
Gotcha.
$25
Probably.
ticket. So I went over to the ticket booth right next door and bought 3 tickets. It came out to $97.50. I said, why is it so high? Well, there's a $7.50 service fee.
On each ticket?
On each ticket. That amounts to the cost of a ticket for 3 of them.
Nick, you can't lie to our people. Inflation is going down. Don't try to put propaganda into this. It's going down.
Well, a couple years ago, the last time I bought a ticket, it was a $2 fee. But what gets me is that thing was rebuilt almost exclusively with taxpayer grant money. They're getting it rent-free. They've got volunteers there selling the tickets. What do they need a service fee for?
Couldn't tell you. I don't work there. But I do have good news, Nick. After hearing that last story, we should all eat Pop-Tarts. We'll make it to 97. That's what that guy who developed it, he lived to 97, so they must be health food.
Oh, boy. Talk about sugar.
Well, Nick, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, and I've missed your whiny, squeaky voice. So what are we going to hit the folks up with today?
Well, let's pick on Mary Rickard. I've got a
clip
coming up. She and Kevin Cry had a little dust-off at the supervisors meeting, 2 or 3 meetings ago. I wanted to get to it last time, and we didn't get to it. So this kind of shows you how she's maybe not in a loop mentally as much as you would think she is. Let's go with that clip, Christina.
That we can't, it's now law, it's passed as a law, then we cannot hand count unless you have less than 1,000 voters, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're kind of watching the fountain wind a little bit as well. Very, very similar. Very similar.
No, it's not similar at all. It's not similar at all.
Okay.
It's not even close.
Okay.
It's not.
Yes,
she's
sir.
she's 100% correct.
That's where Kevin cut it off. I wish he would have explained. The way that it's similar is when it came to hand counting, the state stepped in after the fact and passed a law that we can't hand count. We have to have machines. As far as the wind project goes, the wind turbines up on Hatchet Mountain, the state stepped in after we put down our foot and said none in Shasta County. They took over and said that the state has the authority to put them in, and they want to put them in. And Mary can't seem to make the connection there.
Nick, it's completely different. Exactly the same principles, but it's completely different. I don't know how, but apparently the Mary, just so you guys know, that means that
no. Let's talk about what it is to do with meddling with elections and putting shit on a piece of property that is owned probably by the state. I don't know who owns the property that they want to put the fucking fountain wind. Not like I have a general understanding about the fountain wind project thing. I'm not quite clear on who owns the property that they want to put the windmills on. I thought it was PG&E. But yeah, it's almost like county supervisors have to accept state laws. First and foremost. Second of all, you can't do things that are purposefully intended to disenfranchise voters. It's not only statewide illegal, but federally illegal. And that is, I mean, if you ask one of them constitutional fucking scholars that they have going to these meetings every fucking time there's a meeting, your constitutional right to vote far outweighs whether or not PG&E or the state is going to put a fucking windmill up on a mountain. Sorry.
Is dead, dying, and will get defeated. The reality is every poll that has been done says 7 out of 10 Americans do not trust our voting systems. Period. 7 out of 10. So go into the store, look around, find 10, put 7 to one side. They do not trust
fucking bullshit shit pulled out of somebody's ass, because I do not believe it.
What worked for over 200
7
years.
out of 10 people
And the folks who
don't trust our voting
system
system.
have been lying through their teeth. They said it's millions of dollars. They said that Kevin, pretty much acted alone is what would sound like on those radio clips and stuff. And it's no. I mean, I am glad they got rid of it. Why does my vote not count, and why does your vote not count, Nick?
We don't have a Turkish emoji because it would just be a black cat.
Well, I guess you did.
I did. Yeah, I bought my degree, dang it.
I think that's what most of the recall people did, too, because they're not too bright. But, you know,
I mean, technically everybody buys their degree.
The thing is, this is nonpartisan, they claim, for a supervisor.
It's always nonpartisan when it comes from the liberal side, yes.
And she claims she's a Republican, though she always votes liberal. And she claims she's a fiscal conservative.
She is.
So does Susan Barrymore, a fiscal conservative. Well,
Barrymore, motherfucker.
Well, it's funny is when I was on with Carl and Linda this month, Linda asked me, do you consider yourself a conservative? I said an extreme conservative. And by that, I want small government. Stay out of my bedroom. Leave our kids alone. And
no, wait a minute. Hold on.
Death and don't give it to people who did
this motherfucker just say that he wants people to stay out of his bedroom? Because that's hilarious. I bet the answers to some of his questions about fucking LGBT shit and fucking trans equality and fucking gay hate and all. I bet all of those things he has strong opinions of, and they all have to do with fucking God, right? But God doesn't care what goes on in his hella vanilla bedroom, so I suppose that's the fucking difference.
To give Kathy Darling Allen a $40,000 raise a couple years ago. She voted to give Eric McGraney a $32,000 raise and create a new job for him, a job that didn't exist, assistant CEO. Speaking of Eric, he's still drawing a paycheck. I would wager it's around $15,000 a month, and he's not working. He hasn't been working for, 7 or 8 months.
That's true. McGreeny is kind of a piece of shit.
Employees get to enjoy. They wait till the last 3 years, and then they load up, and then they get to use that for their pension.
And our fiscal conservative, she voted that all in.
Oh, yeah.
She
also voted to help lock us down, and she believed in the health officer that wouldn't listen to anybody who didn't want to wear a mask, didn't want to inject the kids. So that's Mary Rickards. That's who she is. She's not a conservative.
You people up there in Fall River and MacArthur area and Bernie area, this is your representative. You need to pay attention. Win Carpenter would be a much better choice, in my opinion.
I would agree with that there, Nick, and I don't agree with you hardly on anything.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's why we get along so well.
We're like an old married couple.
That's right. Well, Carl had a very interesting show. I believe it was Thursday. He had Jason Miller on and a guy named, what was his name? Clark was his last name. And he owns a sign shop on North Pacelli Lane, kind of across from where the old Denny's used to be.
Oh, yes. I read that thing that you sent to me, yeah.
Within 1 block of Cypress Street. And we're going to...
I should listen. I listened to it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did, because it's very interesting what's going on. And then what's more interesting is what the city's telling us that's going on that isn't going on.
Yep, I know. That clip was pretty illuminating.
How about it? Have we got clip number 1? Christina?
Yeah. Okay. So would a police officer one time on the many calls that I have to make to RPD, And they're great. The officers that have responded to me have helped me out of some really bad situations.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling concerned about my safety, he gave me a pointer, a tip. He goes, I can't say who, and I can't tell you why, but the city council gave permission for that hotel to belong to a state-run program to temporarily house recovering drug addicts and parolees. And that's all I can tell you.
This is what the officer said.
This is what the officer said. So I've been very watching that place like a hawk since I found out the information, because it explained why I have so many drug criminals in my area.
Now, what you got to remember is that was a while back when that happened. I would wager that Kristen Schrader was on the council then, and she is all pro-homeless. Let's get all the homeless we can around here. So he just said that they voted on it. It's a state program sending it to us.
How does that make any fucking sense on this fucking planet?
The latest one, every police chief I've talked to, almost every city councilor I've talked to, and I'm telling them that...
Yeah, pro-homeless. Let's just take everybody's homes away and just have more...
Constantly... Oh, well, no, that's not true. All the homeless are local people here. Show me a picture of a bus. Why can't somebody get a picture of a bus and show it to us?
Well, I did. I have a picture of a bus, but it wasn't homeless. Well, for all I know, it might have been homeless, but I can guarantee it was illegal immigrants being shuttled right through our community.
Imagine them stopping.
I said it at Carl Bott, and I said it on our show
somewhere
last time,
for something.
There was a bus with Mexican license plates, stopped at the Walmart. I happened to follow it into the parking lot, and I took pictures of it, and then I went to the front of the bus, and fortunately, I guess it wasn't a cartel, or they would have shot me up. But I looked into
because the cartel is just going to drive up in a bus with Mexican license plates on it.
And
Jesus
they were not
fucking
the
Christ.
tourist type, and that's not a racist thing. It's just simply the fact you could tell they did not have a lot of money, so they weren't up here touring around. So that was going through Ready, and then the lady, the one who testified, you played the clip last time about she had to pick up a friend at night by. I believe it was Dutch Brothers, and she said there was a white bus, and everybody coming from off that bus was from San Francisco, and they were homeless. So she gave testimony to the Board of Supervisors. So why would people say that that's not happening?
Because the picture it didn't happen.
I sent Schiller, Police Chief Schiller, who's retired.
He's taking a picture of a bus.
The clip, so he could watch the clip, and he said they can't run her down, they can't find her, and to confirm it.
Well, she said she owned a building. I don't think it'd be that hard.
Well, it was too hard for them. But they don't want to admit it. It's the same old excuses. You know, Jack Munns, he gave me the same thing. I talked to him when he was leaving a air quality control meeting, and I said I see him, and I kind of cornered him. I says, you're law enforcement. You notice him. And, well, yeah, you know, and away he went. The next time I see him, he says, well, you know, we've got to have some proof. You know, get a picture or something. Everybody's saying this, but it never happens. I'll wager Jack Munns knows all about when Reno was sending their derelicts over here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, the problem is with law enforcement is, you know, they walk that fine line between what they know and what they're allowed to say if they want to keep their job. And so I can tell you I have clients who are cops, and what they tell me in a friend-to-friend confidential conversation is 100% different than what they would tell you if you asked them in their police uniform, because they can't. They can't just say that stuff, because then it's going to go, Officer X told me why, and that's going to get back to the chief or the sheriff or whatever. And so off the record, they'll tell you everything. On the record, they've got to be that, toed in the line kind of a thing.
It's kind of comical when you figure that out, isn't it?
No, the problem is, as America goes into the crap hole, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm going to beat the table on this. The difference between us and tyranny is going to come down to cops and the military.
Wow.
No time in history, human history, has tyranny ever happened without cops and without the military. Because cops will choose most of the time, and if there's cops listening, I'm talking to you. Cops will choose their paycheck over their country almost every time. I mean, look what happened in COVID. They're going and harassing people without a mask, for crying out loud. Nothing in the Constitution gave them the authority to do that. No law.
Nothing was grander almost than the far right fucking nutters who all of a sudden realized that the police didn't give a shit about them either. like, they're there to enforce laws. And laws are equally applicable amongst the general population. And they just wouldn't throw down their shields and their batons to march with them against masks. And they're hurt and they're scarred for life. Imagine being oppressed so hard by the police that you liked and shared and put your little sticker on your car with the little thin blue line. And you use that Punisher logo as your Facebook profile page, your Facebook profile picture. And then the cops, they still enforce the business's rights to not have you trespass on their property because you're not following the mandates set forth by their fucking corporate overlords. Fucking silly bitches.
And I mean, that's just here locally. I mean, nationwide and around the world, cops were the heavy hand of the tyrannical government. So the cops need to stop having this, let's toe the line, and people need to start standing up going, this is wrong. Our community, our taxpayers, the people who support us and wave to us because I guarantee you, when I see a cop and you see a cop, we wave with the full hand. When a homeless person...
But is it like just one solid wave, or is it a bunch of waves?
Start supporting us.
Well, when they figure out that the coffers are broke,
is it just like a hey?
Anymore, they see our car economy collapse,
or is it like
maybe they will switch
hi?
Sides.
Well, that's the problem. That's when the
maybe not switch sides. Pick our side.
Well, pick our side. That's really what I'm saying. Just stick to the Constitution. If you stick to the Constitution, the thin blue line will always remain. Always. You do the same crap you did during COVID, but now under a Newsom leadership or a Biden leadership or hell, even Trump leadership, and you do that again, because let's not forget, it was Trump who locked us down. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. He locked us down and everybody followed. Now, he got really bad advice and he was surrounded by a bunch of piranhas. I get that. But he still was commander-in-chief and there was enough evidence out there. So getting back to cops, stick to the Constitution.
See, even these guys are like jumping off the fucking Trump train.
I know. I'm just sitting and looking at your face and you're just totally rolling your eyes at me. It's like we're dating.
Yeah. And you're the female. Go ahead.
Here for 30 years. It's an area where people live and all this. And what he says is the Red Line Suites in Motel 6, which is across the road, has been repurposed as a place for recovering addicts and people on parole.
He's just staring into the person and just be like,
the state is paying the owner of the hotel.
And that's just a wave
per room. Yep. But there's no supervision.
None.
And it's causing a tremendous problem for them.
Now, I've observed...
Like, wasn't the Punisher, like, emphatically anti-police?
Okay.
And in the 6 months that I've been really watching what's going on over there, I've seen a state probation...
Syringe, there's nothing casual about their chauvinism.
SUV said state probation. I've only seen probation officers there once. Just one time.
Well, they may have come by other times that you didn't see it, but still, but you're looking at it across the street.
Okay, now take into consideration the motels on North Market Street. One just a block up here. There's two of them up here. I drive by there. I see people sitting out there in lawn chairs. They've got their own little group over there. They don't even take the chairs in.
Yeah.
I'll wager those motels are being rented.
Well, I can speak to this area where this gentleman's talking about. My office, real estate, is right around the corner behind View 202. And there is not a single day. I'm in the office 2 to 4 days a week, depends if I'm coming down from Shingletown or not. And I can guarantee you, every single day and every single time I go up Bocelli to go to my office, there are homeless this guy is seeing how bad it is, and it is literally that bad.
Hot take, View 202 ain't that good.
Motels for them. Sorry,
not sorry.
South of town used to be the Capri.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple little places in between, just past the Capri. They're all loaded up. We call them homeless. They're not homeless. They got a place to stay. They just go out and vandalize and steal at night and during the day. They're not staying there all day.
Well, you know what's funny is they should go and talk to San Francisco and New York, because San Francisco.
Yeah. This is a radio show on 1460 AM up in Shasta, Mini Ranch. They do this every other Sunday, and then Kevin Cry does his every other Sunday on the same program.
Physically destroyed all the hotels. And now the city's on the hook for refurbishing the hotels after putting homeless people in the hotels.
I talked to a gal the other day, and she works for HHS, and she told me that 80% of the homeless that they house thrash the place and are back on the streets in a year because they don't want to be housed.
Well, because there's there's hardly any services beyond the housing. Because you guys, this is not you guys, because nobody in their right mind would ever let these people be in charge of anything.
We really worked hard.
But there's very few services that people eventually qualify for, because the in-between care between just getting somebody housed and helping them along their path to becoming a more healthy individual are being taken apart every fucking day, are being dismantled, are being defunded every fucking day. And they wonder why they get, I couldn't possibly imagine the fucking PTSD that you would have from being fucking homeless and having nothing and trying to build up a little safe little spot for yourself, and then getting fucking raided by a bunch of fucking cops and having all of your fucking shit thrown out by a bunch of fucking people in the fucking neighborhood that think they're doing good by cleaning up a homeless encampment. Like, I can't imagine what it must be like to have to fucking rebuild, some sense of just being a person in this fucked up situation in a fucked up county, and trying to be like normal or whatever somebody considers fucking normal, but not having any fucking support. Not even having not having somebody to talk to regularly. Just somebody to talk to regularly, to have a fucking a doctor that's going to help you thrive and not just diagnose you and put you on a bunch of fucking pills and say, okay, you're good. Like, there's a lot of that. I mean, there's healthcare, there's medicine, and then there's care. And they don't care about these people. If they did, then they would actually help them and not just be like, well, we don't want to encourage bad behavior, which that just comes from fucking Patrick Jones because he's a fucking asshole. But you can't shame people out of mental health issues just because you gave them a roof over their head, which they should just have anyway. You can't shame somebody and finger wag somebody into just falling in line with whatever fucking bullshit you think is acceptable to do as a fucking person. People aren't like that. Our brains don't work that way. We are an animal, we are a creature that has two fucking emotions. It's love and fear. And fear, it just comes from not being loved. Because all we want as fucking humans is to fucking be loved and feel secure. And if you don't have those two things, then everything just fucking crumbles. That's when you have fucking self-esteem issues and self-doubt and intrusive thoughts. And when you don't have a genuinely loving fucking support system or something, then as people, we just fucking blame ourselves because we don't feel loved. And feeling loved, genuinely feeling loved, and I don't mean by a fucking it doesn't have to be a significant other, just by somebody. does so fucking much for us as humans that it makes all of the bullshit okay. And if you don't have that, and you don't have anybody willing to understand that you need people who care so that you can help yourself, then you're missing out on a whole subsection of what it is like to be fucking human. And how fucking entitled are you to think that people don't deserve to be fucking loved and respected? It's gross. It's fucking disgusting. It makes me really fucking pissed off that these people are allowed to push a fucking position like this in a fucking county run by fucking control freak narcissist assholes who think that just helping homeless people is encouraging fucking bad behavior, and who think that, you know, people are credible, say, oh, they're busing in fucking homeless people from Reno and San Francisco. It's all just bullshit. It's fucking scare tactics to make people who live in Shasta County, who are, you know, easily swayed by shit like this, feel like there's a fucking invasion coming and people are gonna break into their homes and fucking kill them and steal all their shit. That's not fucking true. It's just not fucking accurate. It's bullshit, and it's fucking disgusting.
With our tenants to make sure that the place was taken care of. But I can tell you, I've sold a lot of houses where the tenants have gone in and cost tens of thousands of dollars. It's not theirs. They don't care. Homeless take that to an extreme.
Especially when HUD's paying the rent. They're not even paying the rent. Let's hear that third clip.
And how easy and cheap they are to obtain. 90% of this problem would go away. And the 10% that's left, we have the resources to handle it. It's a drug trafficking problem.
Yeah. It's not a homeless problem.
It's a drug problem.
It's a drug problem.
This drug problem is getting bad.
Good morning. I got a minute.
If you eliminate the drugs, they'll all go to alcohol. In my opinion, you need to cut off the source of these homelessness, and it's people coming from out of the area. I've had people tell me that they have witnessed buses from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, listen to Nick talking on somebody else's show about the same bullshit he's talking about on his own fucking show.
Yeah, I've witnessed.
Yeah, I've personally witnessed it.
Yeah, I've witnessed. Get this. Get ready to hear this news. I saw a CHP cruiser pull off of I-5 behind the Comet gas station across the street from my shop. I happened to be looking out the window when he did it. What gets out of the cruiser?